Carrington Harrison on your home for ball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A 2-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and the Odyssey app. We have so much breaking news in the National Football League. The top story of the day, the Kansas City Chiefs on day one of free agency, they go out and they give Kenneth Walker the bag. We'll get to the contract details coming up in just a bit. They also sign a defensive tackle from the New England Patriots. We'll learn a little bit more about both of those players. We're going to head to Seattle. We're also going to head to New England in today's show as well. We're also going to be joined by Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. We'll get his thoughts on all of the moves that have happened. Any breaking news that happens, Rob is going to hit the sounder, and we are going to talk about it. Speaking of a sounder, now I'm going to play this for you. That does not mean call right now. Rob will not answer your phone call if you call. You will be calling for absolutely no reason. But we are going to register people today and tomorrow for our Papa Shot tournament. I am going to play this sounder during every commercial break that we have.
Goodness nuggets!
During the commercial break, call 913-586-7965, and two of you every commercial break will be registered for the Papa Shot tournament. That is literally all you need to do. Our Papa Shot tournament is next Wednesday, March 18th at Draftcade. Listen in all day and tomorrow. Your chance to get registered to play. We'll play the sounder that I just played during the commercial break. When you hear it, call in for your chance to be registered. We will take two people every single commercial break to participate in our Papa Shot tournament. The winner is going to get $200 to Draftcade and the Funny Bone. Before we get going, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. And number three, and most importantly, I need you guys to remember that the show is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. Today is a Monday, so that means it is a burger and a brew Monday at The Other Place. A half-pound specialty burger with fries, only $8.49, plus a $3.50 domestic pint. Go stop by and see our friends over at The Other Place. Now, we have to start with the top story. We have to start with the number one news. I'm just going to begin today's show by reading you a series of stats. Now, shout out to Bryce Carter. He does fantastic work with Arrowhead Attic. He did the work for me. In 2025, Kenneth Walker had 33 carries of 10 yards or more. The Chiefs, as a team, if you add their running backs together, had 22. If you were talking about carries in which the ball carrier reached 15 miles an hour or better, Kenneth Walker had 67 of those last year. The Chiefs had 24 as a team. If you were talking about carries that hit 20 miles an hour, Kenneth Walker had 2 of them last year. The Chiefs didn't have one. If you want to talk about playing against light boxes, so I'm talking about 6 defenders or less, the Chiefs faced more than any team in the league last year. Seattle was on the opposite side. Teams respected Seattle's run game, and it opened up lanes for Kenneth Walker. It opened up lanes for their offense and allowed their offense to flourish. I know Rob is going to come on here and tell you that the Chiefs overpaid at running back. I'm not here to argue that today. I'm not here to debate that with you. We knew it was going to be expensive to go get Kenneth Walker. He signed a contract that I think is a pretty fair number. It is a 3-year, a max deal of $45 million with a base of $14.35 million a year, and 28.7 of it is fully guaranteed. Now, let's see how the contract breaks down, because I'm guessing this is essentially a 2-year deal, and that third year is optional, and we'll see what happens with Kenneth Walker. Maybe you move on at that point. But what is most important to me is the Chiefs desperately realize what all of us realize. They did not have enough explosiveness on offense. And the number one priority for this team clearly this offseason is we need to fix this. I am not looking at this as a running back one move. I know technically that's what it is. I'm not here to debate that. This is a playmaker number one move to me. And the thing that I have been harping on the most over the course of the last couple of weeks and months as we have been leading up to this conversation today is I wanted the Chiefs to get younger. I wanted the Chiefs to get more explosive at the skill positions, and that is exactly what they did. Now, we'll talk about the Travis Kelce news and that Travis Kelce is coming back. Let's see what the money looks like. I don't have a problem with Travis Kelce coming back. But one thing I have been very adamant about in building this team and trying to get some explosiveness is your offense cannot be built around a 37-year-old in his final season. That is not the case. Their offense is currently built around one of the better running backs in the National Football League, a guy who has shown you he can run for 1,000 yards, a guy who has shown you he can be a physical runner, a guy who has shown you he can be explosive and open things up, a guy who has shown you that defenses need to respect, which can open up passing lanes. Today, it was a passing of the torch in who their offense is built around. Now, that's not to say that Rashee Rice is not going to play a factor in their offense. Let's see what happens with him this offseason. That's not to say that Xavier Worthy isn't going to be one of those guys. We'll have a conversation at some point about what you can potentially do with the 9th overall pick, and maybe you go get the kid from Arizona State at wide receiver. Maybe you go get a corner. The board opens up for you in a lot of different ways now that you have fixed one of your biggest problems, which was explosiveness on offense. But the Chiefs needed, in my mind, a proven 24, 25, or 26-year-old player on offense because they do not have that on their team. You cannot argue with me that Rashee Rice is a proven player. He hasn't been healthy. He hasn't stayed out of trouble. That is not what Xavier Worthy is. They didn't have that in their running back room. They went out and they got certainty. They went out and they got a player that we don't need to argue about what you expect him to do next season. He needs to run for close to 1,000 yards. He needs to have 900 yards rushing. He needs to have 200, 300 yards receiving, have 1,200, 1,300 all-purpose yards next year. That needs to be your guy, or maybe it's Rashee Rice or whomever they could possibly get in the NFL draft. That needs to lead their offense. We have seen their offense now shift, and it is not built around a 37-year-old anymore. It is built around one of the more dynamic running backs in the National Football League. So that is number one. I would also say that this was a checklist banner kind of day for Kansas City. We knew what they needed to do on the offensive side of the ball. They used the term explosiveness. I thought it was pretty clear that that's what they were going to target, whether it was Breece Hall, whether it was Travis Etienne, who signed a very comparable deal of 4 years, $52 million, whether it was Kenneth Walker. They went out and grabbed him in free agency. They said they wanted to get more explosive at running back. That is exactly what they accomplished today by going to go get Kenneth Walker. They also needed to get more physical on the other side of the football. It was not just an explosiveness on the offensive side, which was desperately needed. They needed a toughness up front, and they started that process today by going to get a younger defensive tackle who is known for being physical, who is known for eating up the middle of the field and being a guy who can help you stop the run. This Tonga signing is a very, very good signing. I love the price. 3 years, $21 million, $14 million fully guaranteed. This is a nice contract and a very nice piece. This team, we talked about, had 4 rooms that they had to completely rebuild. They needed to rebuild the running back room. You got off to a great start today by doing that with Kenneth Walker. They need to rebuild that defensive line. They got off to a good start today by going up to pick Tonga on this 3-year, $21 million deal, $14 million guaranteed. They need to do something with corner. We'll talk more about Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson, who have now switched zip codes and now are playing in Los Angeles, and they need to do something about wide receiver. You are not going to solve all of your problems in the first 2 hours of free agency. That's not how it works. But now you are equipped with maybe the best free agent on the board. I think you can argue on the offensive side of the ball with Kenneth Walker, a perfect fit for your team, the explosiveness that you needed on offense, the physicality that you needed on offense. I don't think the teams see the Chiefs as physical. Certainly not with their run game, not with their wide receivers, not with their offensive line. They needed a little bit of toughness. And I think we've seen enough Kenneth Walker to know that's the kind of running back that I think he's going to be. He's going to be explosive. He's going to be a home run hitter. He's also going to be able to lower his shoulder and run through some guys. I think they needed that same nastiness on their defensive line, and I think they got that today. I think today is a very, very solid day for Kansas City. Work is not done. They're still going to make some moves. I think they're going to sign a veteran wide receiver at some point, either today or by the end of the week. I think they're letting the big money go out there, the Alec Pierce, those guys. I think they're letting those signings pass. And then in day 2, you try to pick up a Jawan Jennings. You try to pick up a Darnell Mooney. You try to get one of those kind of wide receivers. I think the Chiefs will be in on that market, but I think they're off to a great start. It completely opens up number 9, and I'm happy that we can put this Jeremiah Love conversation to rest. You did not need to spend the 9th overall pick on a running back. They handled it correctly. They went out in free agency in a good free agent running back class, and they got the best one arguably available. Check that off the box. They needed to get going on the defensive line. They did that. They need to go get a veteran wide receiver at some point, and they're going to have to get a little bit more experience in the secondary room, but you got a lot of time and draft pick compensation and salary cap space to get a lot of those moves done. We'll take calls all day, 913-586-7965. I want to hear what you guys think about the moves. I do want to get Rob's opinion on this. I wanted to talk first before Rob throws a complete wet blanket over the entire move and tells you how this is the worst thing that they possibly could have done. I'm guessing we'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Ready to watch your favorite baseball stars play in the WBC? Get in on the action with BetMGM. Sign into your BetMGM account and enjoy a WBC odds boost token to snag even more winnings on your next bet. It's easy. Just log into the BetMGM Sportsbook app, add any WBC bet to your bet slip, and activate your odds boost token. If you win your bet with your token activated, you'll score extra winnings. 3 quick steps and you could be on your way to extra winnings if your next WBC bet hits. The world's greatest ball players are about to duke it out on a global stage. Don't miss out on the fun. Add some extra excitement to this year's tournament by signing into your BetMGM account and grabbing your WBC odds boost token today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Goodness. Nuggets.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
For over 35 years, we've been protecting homes across Kansas City, one roof at a time. That's more than 3 decades, more than 35,000 roofs installed, and 35,000 happy customers. We're proud to be voted best roofing company in Johnson County and all of Kansas City. At Century Roofing, we don't just build roofs, we build trust that lasts for generations. Experience matters, reputation counts, and we stand behind every roof we install. Trust the pillars of strength with KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
He's a husband, a dad, owner of a gym. He's also a police officer. Staying strong and pain-free isn't optional. It's safety. That's why David Boardman's a QC Kinetics patient.
My job is dependent on my physical ability and my physical fitness so that I can protect myself, so that I can go home safe to my family at the end of the night.
But severe knee pain nearly took that away. Doctors said surgery, shut down the workouts. David needed another option. That was QC Kinetics. They told him,
we're going to give you the opportunity to have not 1, but 2 healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
They used David's own healing tools in his blood to help restore his knees. Regenerative treatments right in the office.
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week.
Trust the team helping active people avoid surgery. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting Miss Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Nemu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week. New segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better, let's get it.
Coming to Kansas City, the NAIA Men's College Basketball Championship. 16 teams, 15 games, 6 days, and 1 national champion. The NAIA Men's College Basketball Championship at Municipal Auditorium, March 19th to the 24th. Get your tickets now at NAIAHoops.com. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I will say this. I am a little bit surprised at how split the text line is on this. Now, it's just a couple of people. I don't want to paint it like it's some monolith, but I'm happy to take phone calls here, 913-586-7965. Congratulations to the first 2 people who got registered for the Pop-A-Shot tournament. Every commercial break, you are going to hear this sounder.
Goodness nuggets!
So when you hear that sounder during the commercial break, call in 913-586-7965. Rob will take care of you. You'll get handled. I am a little bit surprised at how split the text line is. I'll read the top 2 texts that we have. WTF, I'm not happy with the money that they paid Walker. It's ridiculous. He's not worth that kind of money back at the position. I'm fine with the contract they're giving Travis, even though we don't know what they're giving Travis. Neither here nor there. He's still one of the best tight ends in the leagues. I don't like the D-line pickup. He stinks. It's a bad pickup. I guess let's just blow money for no results. The next text, I'm with Rob. This signing sucks. Walker can't catch. It limits the offense so much. I would like to point out that 2 teams in the NFL scored more points than Seattle did, with this being their number 1 running back last year. New England and Los Angeles. Only 2 teams in the league. Now, I don't think they're done at running back. The same way that the Seahawks had Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, I don't think that Brashard Smith is going to be their number 2 running back for this upcoming season. I think they are going to take another swing at running back. But this is a really, really good foundation. I just think that our conversation about running back contracts are just so completely out of whack. Kenneth Walker, if you compare it to other positions, other pass catchers, he would be the 29th highest paid wide receiver in the National Football League. One thing that I don't get about the way that we talk about the position of running back is you know that this guy is going to touch the ball 200 to 250 times a year. So he is quite literally one of the most important people on your offense. The only people that are going to touch the ball this season more than Kenneth Walker are going to be Creed Humphrey and Patrick Mahomes if everything goes according to plan. And you're upset that that guy got a little bit of guaranteed money? It's basically going to even out to be a 2-year deal. I'm going to say on both players, we all know how these contracts are put together. He's going to be a significantly low cap hit for this year. He'll be a decent cap hit, but it's also a running back cap hit. It's important to note, I saw this, if we're going by the average of top 5 players at their positions, running back is the second lowest paid position in the National Football League behind center. So it's not really a position that, I know it's breaking the bank, but it's not breaking the bank in the same way that other positions in the NFL are breaking the bank. It's a guy that's going to touch the ball 250 times, a guy who has shown you he can be pretty reliable, can be a 1,000-yard back, can be a home run option. I remember for so long the sentiment was we got to protect Pat. Giving him a viable run game is part of protecting him, and giving him one of the best, if not the best free agent running back is one of the best things that they could do. I am very happy about this move. The Tonga, a little bit different, but it's a $14 million guarantee deal. You're not expecting him to come in and be a guy that gets you double-digit sacks. He's part of the interior defensive line and part of the rotation. They needed to free themselves from the Mike Pennell, Derek Nottie shackles that they were in and invest at the position. So going to get a 24-year-old who has been disruptive against the run to now pair him with Omar Norman-Lott, to pair him with Ashton Gelati, you got Chris Jones, you got George Karlaftis. I still want them to go get a veteran pass rusher. I still want them to invest in the defensive line when it comes to the NFL draft. I love their moves so far. And I'm normally Buzz Killington when it comes to this kind of stuff. I love the Kenneth Walker signing. I love that the Chiefs identified what their biggest need was and went out and addressed it immediately in free agency. And I would consider going to get Tonga a little bit of a depth piece. This wasn't a big-time move. This wasn't going to get John Franklin Myers, who just got $65 million and $43 million guaranteed. This isn't the only move you're going to do on the defense, but identifying a guy who you can put in the middle of the field, a guy that can be a starter, a guy that can play in 60% of the snaps and be disruptive and help you stop the run, and getting him for a pretty team-friendly contract at $14 million guaranteed, I don't really know how you could be too much against the Tonga move. So, Rob, I'll bring you in here. Phone line 913-586-7965. Rob and I didn't do too much talking about this before the show because I already know. There's sometimes I ask Rob a question that I don't know the answer to. Sometimes I know, and that's how you got to set your dog up. But I didn't ask him anything about this. I didn't ask him about the money. I didn't ask him what he thought because I was waiting for this moment so we could hear it all at the same time. Rob, we knew they were going to invest in running back. They made that very clear at the combine. That was the first thing they addressed this offseason, and going to get Kenneth Walker, the biggest fish that was on the board. You are usually very anti-paying running backs. You have been saying for weeks, go get Kenneth Gainwell, go get Tyler Algier, go do all of these other things. We have now seen the Chiefs playing at running back. How are you feeling?
I think they overpaid at running back. I think the player is a quality player, but I think they definitely overpaid for the player. I just think this is what Brett Veach does, and right or wrong, this is what he does. When they have a problem, when he views an issue, he doesn't just make it better. He goes all out to fix it. We've seen the past with the offensive line multiple times. We've seen the past with the defense, the secondary, all of it. He identifies a problem, and he's going to go out of his way to fix it. Kenneth Walker is a good player. He is on a contract that the Chiefs absolutely should not have signed him to. And when you look at other running backs that I would have been in the market for if I was a GM, it makes me more frustrated because I feel like you're getting 60% of the talent at like 20% of the cost. So I would have paid what the Bucs did for Kenneth Gainwell. I would have paid what the Cardinals did for Tyler Algier. I wouldn't have paid the premium for Kenneth Walker. I just wouldn't have. But Brett Veach identifies a problem and goes out of his way to fix it. So I don't like the move. It does not make me happy. I actually think the Chiefs have had a pretty bad day when it comes to free agency today. Like, Tonga's fine, great depth piece, but running back depth piece, and we don't know the contract for a 37-year-old tight end. I don't think that's a super swell day, but I mean, it is what it is. I just, for a person that stood back here last offseason and screamed about positional value and then watched the Chiefs go out and trip over themselves to 6-11, they then this offseason, their first big move, they screw up positional value again. So I feel like we're back in the same spot over and over again.
So there were 4 running backs who have already been signed. Travis Etienne signed for 4 years, $52 million. Kenneth Walker got 3 for $43. Tyler Algier signed for 2 for $12.5 million. Kenneth Gainwell signed for 2 for $14. I would imagine we'll find out about Rico Dowdle before the season is the day is over. Rashad White will end up signing a deal. And Rob, if you've seen any of these, please let me know, and we'll talk about those deals as they happen. This would be my argument against the Tyler Algier or the Kenneth Gainwell. I don't know if you sign Kenneth Gainwell and he becomes one of your 10 best players. I think Kenneth Gainwell is a good player. I think what the Chiefs needed was a impact player. And I think that's what they got with Kenneth Walker. I think they got a guy that you can get 1,200 yards from scrimmage from. I think they have playmaker number 1 on their team now with Kenneth Walker. And if you were telling me that the plan for this offseason is potentially, let's see how the rest of it plays itself out, you go get Kenneth Walker, let's say they spend number 9 on a wide receiver and they get that Tyson kid from Arizona State, they go get a veteran wide receiver so you just don't have all young guys in that room. You have gone from an offense that I thought was, I'm not going to say dink and dunk, but it was certainly death by 1,000 cuts. It was a lot of 12, 13, 14 play drives, methodical, matriculating the ball down the field. The biggest thing I think the Chiefs have been missing for these last couple of years is they don't have a haymaker anymore. They don't have a guy that can just put you on your back. They spend a lot of time with jabs. No, at some point, you got to throw a right hook. You got to throw a cross that you think can put somebody on the mat. I think Kenneth Walker is a guy that can put defenses on the map. Now, let's see what else they do. I hope it's not just Kenneth Walker and that's all we're going to do for the offseason. But I think the Chiefs desperately needed a guy that defenses are afraid of, a guy that defenses have to respect, that they have to game plan for. I like Tyler Algier. I don't think that's what he is. I think you can pair him with somebody else the way that Atlanta did with Bijan Robinson. Kenneth Gainwell, the same kind of thing. I don't think they're impact players. I don't think they're haymaker, big swing kind of players. So I'm never going to be mad at the Chiefs for taking a big swing on an offensive piece to try to get back to having one of the 5 best offenses in the National Football League. And this move, potentially with some other moves, I think puts you on the fast track to be in the correct place.
The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
More free agency news, Carrington. This is officially official. A player is leaving town. Brian Cook has a new contract and a new team. Brian Cook, according to Tom Pelissero, has signed a 3-year, $40 million deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. So the former Cincinnati Bearcat, Brian Cook, is headed home. He will be a Bengal at $40 million over 3 years. He has 18 of that in year 1, according to his agent.
Brian Cook just got the same contract that Kenneth Walker just got. They literally signed the same deal. What'd you just say?
It's 3 for 40 and 18 in the first year.
And Kenneth Walker got 3 for 43. Which of those contracts would you rather have if you're a team? Would you rather have Kenneth Walker on a 3 for $43 million deal or Brian Cook on a 3 for $43 million deal? Now, a little bit more guaranteed money for Kenneth Walker, but it's essentially a 2-year deal. It guarantees $28 million. It's a 2-year deal. That's what we'll find out tomorrow when all the contract gets out. I'm going to guess signing bonus is somewhere around $16 million. You're going to pay that out instantly. He's going to have a very low cap hit, a very low base salary in 2026. They'll pay him a little bit more in 2027. And then in 2028, if it doesn't work or they want to go in a different direction, they'll have the ability to be able to go do it. I feel even better about this Kenneth Walker move that now you're telling me he signed for basically what Brian Cook just got. Now, obviously, I don't think the Bengals were in the market to go get this. They like the running back that they have. But if you were telling me that the Chiefs had two contracts in front of them, it was give Kenneth Walker and Brian Cook essentially the same deal. They made the right decision today, and I don't even think it's that close.
It does become fascinating to me because right now the Chiefs' DB room is pretty bad. Like their defensive backfield is lacking right now as McDuffie and Watson are off the board and now Brian Cook's off the board. We talked about last week in Spec Says, does this change your opinion on if they take Downs at 9? Because now we know Cook's gone. We always kind of felt Cook was gone, but now it's foregone. It's done. Brian Cook is off the board. He will be somewhere else. Do you now change your tune a little bit about Caleb Downs? Because last week you were telling me he's a great player, but
I do like
positional
Caleb
value.
Downs. I think he's a very good player.
I think he's a great player too. Now the Chiefs have a hole at safety. Like we know Brian Cook is not returning. Do you think this opens the door for Downs at 9?
I'm coming around at wide receiver. If you're asking me today, let's say the board plays how they think it could potentially play, that David Bailey is going to go somewhere in the top 5, and that's unrealistic to think that he could be there. I think there's a chance Bain is there, but let's see. We obviously got time until we get there. We can now eliminate this Jeremiah Love conversation. Stop it. Please do not talk to me about Jeremiah Love after today. I never want to have another conversation about Jeremiah Love. You can clip this. If the Chiefs still draft a running back at number 9, Brett Veach should resign. Brett Veach should walk up to Clark's office and say, you know what, it's been fun, but I can no longer be the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs because I am not mentally competent enough to continue to do this job. That's what he should say if they still spend number 9 on a running back after signing the 4th highest paid running back contract. If they want to spend one in the 2nd round, sure. They want to spend one in the 3rd round. They want to spend one of those Rams picks on a running back. Great. They cannot now spend the 9th overall pick on a running back. Not at all. Love might not even be there at number 9. I am coming around on wide receiver. I am coming around with, hey, let's finally retool and restock our playmakers. They don't have enough. They don't have enough. Now, maybe we're blaming Connor Embry for that. Maybe we're blaming Rashee Rice and the Cards, whatever it is. The Chiefs don't have enough big-time offensive playmakers. And when I look at the rest of the National Football League and I look at these other quarterbacks in the league, man, you've given them some guys. They got a dude today. We might disagree on how much you think he was worth, but there is no denying that if Kenneth Walker can stay healthy, and he has for the most part this season, Kenneth Walker is a legitimate player for them. They have a chance to have their first 1,000-yard rusher with Patrick Mahomes as their starting quarterback. I'm now coming around to, now, if they draft a Bain, I'm not going to be mad at it, but I'm coming around to, hey, man, let's try to stockpile this offense. And as Patrick Mahomes is heading into the second half of his career, let's get back to what made us so dynamic in the beginning. And what made the Chiefs so dynamic in the beginning was their ability to score from anywhere on the field. You guys remember when we used to compare the Chiefs to the Golden State Warriors? Remember their third quarter blitzes where you look up and it was a 17-14 close game, and then out of nowhere it was just boom, boom, boom everywhere, up and down the field. Chiefs would just run you out of the field. They don't do that anymore. I would love for them to get back to that mentality, to give your quarterback the weapons and invest in those pieces that you can really go out and dominate people. I don't think the defenses are afraid of the Chiefs offense. And that should be a problem given the fact that they have one of the most dynamic offensive-minded coaches in the history of the National Football League and maybe the most talented quarterback that we have ever seen. The fact that you are not fearful of Kansas City's offense anymore is a problem to me. So maybe that's a long way of answering the question, but I am really coming around to, if that Tyson kid from Arizona State is available, man, really take a swing and try to give yourself a chance at the best offense in the National Football League next year.
That is a lot of money for Brian Cook. I mean, Brian Cook's a fine player, but $43 million, I mean, I guess it's 40 and change for a safety who I didn't think was great in Kansas City. That's you know what that deal is? That's the Bengals who are desperate for defense. Like Brian Cook's a good player. They just paid a good player a great contract because their defense was absolute slop last year. 3 for 42 with 18 in the first year is a lot of money for Brian Cook.
It is a lot of money for Brian Cook, who I think is a good player. I mean, I don't think that's a bad contract by any means.
I think it's an
I'm not
overpay for his
crushing the
player.
deal. I don't think that's a bad deal. I'm more looking at it through the guise of, if you were telling me that Brian Cook and Kenneth Walker essentially signed for the exact same deal, I am so happy that they brought back that they signed Kenneth Walker to the deal and they didn't sign Brian Cook. I'm thrilled that's what they ended up doing. I'm happy that for the first time, Brett Veach and I are on the same page. I like the Tonga move. I think the Tonga move is a good move. I think it's a good move. I think the Chiefs had gotten in a rut on their defensive line, and I'm happy that they found some new numbers. I feel like they have been dating the same 5 people for the last 3-4 years, and it worked until it didn't work. So I'm happy that Derek Nottie is out of here. If you want to bring Mike Pennell back and he's your 5th or 6th, but the fact that we were all clamoring to bring Mike Pennell back showed you, I think, that there was a clear need at that interior defensive line. To me, you put somebody proven, somebody who can help stop the run, somebody who it can just take up space and open things up for your pass rushers, I think is a really, really smart move that you didn't end up breaking the bank for. I like what they've done so far in free agency. I would give the Kenneth Walker move an A. I can't give it an A+. I mean, they did make him the 4th highest paid running back in the league, and I don't think he's the top 5 running back in the league, but I think it's a good signing. I also don't think you can really get in too much trouble when it comes to running back contracts, and I think the Tonga signing is probably a B+. I think it's a good move. I don't think it's a banner move. You're not winning a Super Bowl because you made this move, but I think he's a good player on a good contract, and I don't think you can ever really knock those kind of moves.
Explain this to me, because I'm here every day. And I hear you say all the time, there's nothing worse in the NFL than paying a good player a great contract. Kenneth Walker is not a top 5 running back.
He's not.
He is getting top 5 running back money. Now, running back money is depreciated compared to other positions.
But to me,
he's being over. Isn't he exactly what you tell me all the time you shouldn't be doing? Paying good players great contracts?
I'm with you, but I think at running back, just because the market is so much lower, overpaying and giving a guy who you think is maybe the 11th best running back the 4th best contract is very different than doing that at corner. It's quite literally the difference in about $12 million, potentially. So, for example, we just saw the contract that Trent McDuffie signed. 100% worth it. Good for him. Happy for him. Friend of the show. Trent McDuffie got paid. Trent McDuffie's making $30 million this year. You're paying Kenneth Walker. He's making $14 million a year. You then throw in the money you're paying Tonga. Like, this is a major reason why they ended up making this move. Sure, we can sign the one all-pro corner to the 4-year, $110 million deal, or we can break this up and go get dynamic in the running back room. We can add somebody to that interior of the defensive line, and then we still got money to play with to go sign a veteran corner, go sign a veteran defensive lineman. I'm still in the market of wanting them to spend a 1-year deal and go find a guy who had 8.5 sacks. Maybe he's a little bit older, but he's been injured. So I don't mind a slight overpay at running back just because the way that these running back contracts are structured now at this point, I mean, what could have to happen for the Kenneth Walker move to end up being bad in your mind, other than him getting hurt? But that's any contract. You sign a guy to a deal, he ends up being hurt, you don't end up getting the value out of the player. That's any player that you sign in free agency. What scenario could you see the Kenneth Walker move not working for Kansas City? With basically what it is, a 2-year contract. I mean, this year, 221 carries, a little over 1,000 yards. Now, he got hurt in 2024, but in 2023, 219 carries. In 2022, 228 carries. History tells me that Kenneth Walker will have somewhere between 200 and 230 carries for Kansas City this year. If that's the case and he runs for 1,000 yards, he has a handful of touchdowns this season. He has 200 yards out of the backfield. He ends up being a positive for Kansas City.
I do worry also, you weren't here on Friday. I do worry about a little bit like a wear and tear on Kenneth Walker. He had heavy usage in Seattle.
He's 25. We're worried about wear and tear. He's 25 on a 2-year deal?
The 2-year deal, we haven't seen the funny money, but we
already know it's going to be funny money, though. We already know that.
There's definitely
we know it's going to be a funny money deal.
We don't know it's funny money, but we know.
It's funny money.
So I'm operating right now like it's a 3-year deal. Let's say he was exactly what Isaiah Pacheco was in his rookie year, a 950-yard back. Is that enough value out of Kenneth Walker?
Yes. For me, yes. I would say yes.
That's
because I also think they are going to get another running back. Now, I know I can't judge it based off of that move. I would be really, really surprised if Brashard Smith was their second leading rusher in 2026. I'd be stunned if that was the case. They have 2 running backs right now. They have 2 under contract. They have Kenneth Walker and Brashard Smith. So I think at some point they do what you want them to do, where they spend a mid-round pick on a running back. They take a 4th-round flyer. They now got extra draft picks because of the Rams. I could see them now rolling the dice on a running back and seeing if you hit on a running back. I also think now, since you've already seen what Market 1 and a little bit what Market 2 sounds like, now, I understand the Elijah Mitchell move didn't work. I understand the Ronald Jones. But them being with that kind of mindset, a 1-year, $4 million deal, it could be up to $8 million with incentives, a veteran running back that's a little boomer bust, the J.K. Dobbins type. I don't have any problem if they end up signing that kind of move. So I'm assuming when you're talking about with Kenneth Walker is going to have 950 yards. Their number 2 running back is going to have 400, 500 yards rushing next year. If that's the totality of your run game, I think you have taken a substantial leap forward. During the commercial break, we're going to play the sounder. When you hear a Bill Raftery, be sure to call 913-586-7965. We'll keep talking free agency. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan.
When the cold sets in across KC, AB May is the trusted name for keeping your home warm, safe, and secure. From furnace repairs to system replacements, we deliver reliable solutions and unmatched care and professionalism. Whether it's a sudden breakdown or routine maintenance, AB May is here to help. Trusted by generations of Kansas City homeowners, we're committed to doing things the right way every time. Call AB May at 913-732-9993 or visit us at abmay.com.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
Missouri, get ready. Circus Sports is giving you the chance to win owner Derek Stevens' wallet. From February 3rd to March 15th, you can take home your share of $250,000 in cash. Simply wager $100 and earn 1 share, wager $1,000 to earn 2 shares, wager $5,000 for a 3rd share. Bet on anything from pro sports to college, straight bets to futures. Don't miss your chance to cash in and take home your share of Derek's wallet. Visit circusports.com for details. Must be 21 and older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BET-TALK.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $59.99 guaranteed. That's right. Don't just cut back. Stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight you want. Only $59.99 guaranteed with Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Let hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating, and lose the weight. Weight Loss Hypnosis, Wednesday, April 1st at the Wingate by Wyndham, Kansas City. Formerly Sure Stay Plus by Best Western in Kansas City, 5:30 p.m. Stop Smoking Hypnosis, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Net big cash at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through March 28th, earn to swipe your Caesars reward card at a Net Big Cash kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect letters to spell out winning words to score up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us March 28th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Goodness, nuggets!
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ah. If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This afternoon, expect sunny skies with a high of 76.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
The show is shifting, as you would expect with the news. We are going to head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Alex Barth. He is with 98.5 Sports Hub in Boston to talk about the signing. The Chiefs, they go get themselves a defensive tackle. Let's head to the phone lines. Alex, how you doing today, my man?
Good. How are we doing? Thanks for having me.
Doing fantastic. So I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's Khyiris Tonga. Is that how you pronounce his name?
That is exactly correct.
Okay.
Khyiris Tonga.
Khyiris Tonga. All right. I'm bad sometimes with pronouncing people's names, so I'm happy I got that right on the first time. Khyiris Tonga is the newest defensive tackle for Kansas City. Let's talk about this. Why do you think that New England let him go?
I think the market became more than they were willing to spend. He's a good player, but was a rotational player for them, more of a situation player, obviously with Christian Barmore and Milton Williams in the middle of their defense. And look, he played his way into more money than a rotational player should probably get in the opportunities he had this year. He was really good for the Patriots in the role he was in. He's earned money for a bigger role and a chance to play in a bigger role. I don't think that role existed here at this point. They had tried to re-sign him. And the reporting was they initially tried to get a deal with him done late in the season, came very close, but it fell apart. And then when they revisited it after the playoffs, his market had grown beyond what they were willing to spend. So I think this was him looking for a bigger opportunity. I don't think the Patriots, looked at it and said, oh, we're just going to move on from him.
So looking at his numbers, looking at the kind of player that he is, it doesn't seem like a guy that you really have an expectation to get to the other team's quarterback. He seems like a big body that can take up space and help in the run. Is that how he was used in New England?
So that's what's crazy. That's what he was. And he signed here last year with very little fanfare. It was like a 1-year, $3 million contract. And then we go out in training camp, and he's winning pass rush drills. And he talked about how the coaches worked with him to develop a pass rush, which is something that he had never really had coaches do with him previously in his career. He was a pure run player, like you said. Now, look, he's not Aaron Donald or anything. He's not a guy that you're going to put as a part of your core pass rush packages, but he's effective enough that he can play some of those intermediate downs. So like a 2nd and 5 or a 3rd and 3 where you can't just full out send the pass rush. You still have to respect the run enough. He's a useful player in those situations because he's not a liability when it comes to the pass rush. I know he had didn't really have any sacks last year, but he had a number of plays where he got in the backfield and caused an issue that led to one of the ends coming around and getting a sack. So he's not a linchpin pass rusher by any means, but I don't think he's a liability there either.
What kind of player would you say that he is? Right now, we're talking to Alex Barth with 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston, learning a little bit more about Khyiris Tonga. He is the new defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Signed a 2-year deal, around $14 million guaranteed. I think this is a good contract for a good player. What I think the Chiefs need is just somebody physical and mean up front. Is that the kind of player that he is?
Oh yeah, he's on the playing field. He's mean. He's nasty. He's got a great motor. He's willing to handle multiple assignments, and I think he's somebody who knows how to capitalize when the attention's not on him. So again, like playing next to Milton Williams and playing next to Christian Barmore, he had a lot of opportunities that he was able to take advantage of. I would imagine he'll get the same thing in Kansas City playing next to Chris Jones. I think that's a logical pairing. When I saw that signing, that was my first thought was, he's going to have a ton of awesome opportunities playing next to that guy, and with Karlaftis on the edge too. Like, he's not somebody that it's weird. There's like a middle ground where he's not somebody defenses are going to key in on, but he's somebody that can make you pay when you don't key in on him. So when you put him around other talent like that, he's going to really maximize opportunities. Then I'll add too, you talk about the kind of player, great guy in the locker room, super nice guy, individual, cares about the team, is willing to do what the team needs him to do. Played some fullback here last year in New England, came back in the playoffs, fought through an injury to come back and make sure he was available for the playoffs. Team first guy, great locker room culture guy. I know Kansas City, the Patriots last year really had no established culture when they signed him, new head coach and all that. I know Kansas City obviously has a very established culture, but the kind of, you want guys like that in your room, and he certainly brings that too.
You know that we love to grade things as Sports Talk host. I gave this signing a B+. I think it's a good signing for a good player. This isn't a home run swing. This isn't an impact kind of guy, but you alluded to it. He's a very good rotational piece. He stayed healthy. He has earned a much larger role on a defense. He's playing alongside George Karlaftis and Chris Jones. This is a good signing for a good player. I would give it a B+. You saw far more of him than I did. What do you make of the signing? What grade would you give it?
For the Chiefs, I gave the Patriots signing an A+. I thought he was pound for pound one of their best signings last year. Now, obviously, there's more expectations coming. He's getting a bigger contract. He'll probably be in a bigger role right away. Like last year, some people wondered if he'd even make the team here. I think B+ is the right way to put it. He's not suddenly going to put the Chiefs back in Super Bowl contention, not on his own by any means, but you need guys like that. You need guys that can step up when opposing teams take stars out of the game. He can absolutely do that. From what I watched of the Chiefs last year, it felt like their defense was a little star-heavy, a little pop-heavy, and they didn't have those supporting players. He's a textbook, going to shine in a supporting role kind of guy. So it seems like they needed players like that. Yeah, like B+, I would say sounds about right.
That is Alex Barth joining us on the show. He is with 98.5, the Sports Hub in New England, learning about Khyiris Tonga. I'm stunned at myself, Alex. I got that right on the first time I tried. I just been calling him Tonga all day, and I was like, you know what? Let me go and dive in the deep end a little bit. Let me try to pronounce this thing. I'm proud of myself, Alex. Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. Once you see it, like, it makes sense. And we had some trouble with it too here at first. Like, once you realize, because it is kind of phonetic. So once you see it, it hits.
That is Alex.
You're going to hear his name a lot. Like, he'll make sure you know his name. He's going to make plays.
Absolutely. That is Alex Barth joining us on the show. Thank Alex for the flexibility today, man. I know it's a busy day for everybody in the league.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. That is Alex Barth joining us on the show today. I thought that was a very, very positive outlook for Khyiris Tonga. I really did. I thought that was a very positive outlook. And just guys that you need on your roster. You need those kind of guys on your team. Every team does. So I think that's a really good signing. I do want to answer this really quickly because I was saying after today, I do not want to have another conversation about Jeremiah Love on the Chiefs. I'm happy to have it today, but after today, we will never have another conversation about Jeremiah Love on the Chiefs. I don't think it's worth our time anymore. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, if you don't want to talk about Love anymore, that's fair. Then you can't talk about drafting another running back this year. You drafted a running back last year and you just overpaid for Kenneth Walker. My response would just be they have 2 currently on the roster. Where do we think the other running backs are coming from? Where do we think they're coming from, Rob? So I would say they're in a great position to spend a day 3 selection. Now, I'm not saying you got to spend the 243rd overall pick on a running back. Why can't they just spend a nice 4th round pick on a running back? In a couple of years, you move on from Kenneth Walker because he's got a little bit expensive, but he certainly played a role. That guy is now turned into a pretty productive guy that now you want to give more opportunities to, you want to give more carries to, and now he takes over. They're allowed to do that. So, yes, I'm still very much in the take a day 3 flyer on a running back, roll the dice, and just completely reshape the room. So this is how I would do it. You got your number one in Kenneth Walker. I would be monitoring the veteran running back market to see what else is out there. I'm not against them going out and getting another running back. I then roll the dice on a mid-round draft pick at running back. You got Brashard Smith. Hopefully one of those 2 draft picks work out at running back, and I think you got a pretty complete room. That's how I would handle it if I'm the Chiefs. Coming up on the other side, Rob is telling me that we're now going to head out to Seattle to be joined by Mike Salk. We learned about one of their free agents. Let's learn about the other one, the big fish, Kenneth Walker. That's coming up. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. Got that Febreze car on the vents, living life with that just clean freshness. Febreze car, if you know, you know, up to 40 days a cent on low. My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. That's right, breathe happy Febreze, la 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 la.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Goodness, nuggets! It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
If you're like me, you're feeling the pinch of high prices right now on just about everything. And that's where my friends at Hy-Vee come in to save the day, because they're always finding ways at Hy-Vee to save me money, like amazing fuel saver deals. Shop Hy-Vee this Saturday and Sunday and get a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount when you spend $60 on groceries. And you can stack up the savings on Hy-Vee fuel saver deals, and your next fill-up could even be free. There's nothing better than saving money, only at Hy-Vee. Now's the time to complete that painting project you've been putting off. CertaPro Painters provides a free estimate quickly and at the right price. Whether it's interior or exterior, you'll never have to wonder what's next. They provide reliable updates because they know how important your home is to you. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th, Remember, each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? Call Jay Southland Tow Service, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all. Be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow.
I need a little range, step to the range.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club, available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win an X-Family instant ticket, plus a shot at winning 4 Diamond Club seats to the K, all powered by the Kansas Lottery. The Drive's Pop-A-Shot Tournament is Wednesday, March 18th at DraftCade starting at 6:30. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Mike Salk. He is with Seattle Sports. The Kansas City Chiefs, they make one of the bigger signings today in free agency. Kenneth Walker is new RB1 in Kansas City. Mike, it's always great to have you on the show today, my man. How you doing?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Doing great. Let's start with this. I mean, Kenneth Walker had about as good of a January and February that you could have. I think a lot of us had the expectation, especially after winning Super Bowl MVP, is that he was going to stay in Seattle. How did we get to the point where he walked away in free agency?
Oh, no one in Seattle expected that. That was entirely outside of Seattle. Look, Ken Walker's a good player. He's a good running back, and he had a really great month this year in the playoffs and an even better game in the Super Bowl. But that's not the Ken Walker that we watched for the entirety of his time here in Seattle. The guy we watched was good. He was inconsistent. I'm not going to come on here and, dump on Kenneth Walker. He's a good player. But he wasn't the player that we watched this year in the playoffs, and he certainly was not the player that he was for that Sunday night against the Patriots, where he was unbelievable. And if you get that guy for the next 3 years, you're going to love it because he is fun. He's explosive. He is powerful. He makes people miss. But if you get the guy that we watched a lot over the course of 4 years, he runs east-west too much instead of north to south. There are a lot of plays where you're hoping they're going to go for something big, and instead it goes for negative yardage. He's just been an inconsistent player, and oh, by the way, has had some injury concerns along the way. So I don't think anyone here was that surprised. The Seahawks were not going to spend big money on a running back. The idea that he won Super Bowl MVP, that's an award you get for one game, not for what you do over the course of a season or a career. I never really wanted the Seahawks to resign Ken Walker.
Right now, we're talking to Mike Salk with Seattle Sports, getting his thoughts on the move where Kenneth Walker is now RB1 in Kansas City. I agree with you just based off the contract. I don't think that Kenneth Walker is a top 5 running back in the league, and now his contract pays him essentially like he's Jonathan Taylor. How would you rank him, though? You watched every game of Kenneth Walker's career. Is he a top 10 running back, a top 15 running back? Like, where would you kind of rank him among the other great running backs in the league?
Yeah, I mean, those are both fair numbers. I don't know that I can tell the difference between running back 7 and running back 20. Like, he's not in the elite 3. He's not in that group of guys where you say, I don't care who your offensive line is. If you give this guy the ball, he is so good. I mean, he's not Saquon. He's not Derrick Henry. Like, I don't think he's Bijan Robinson. My gut tells me those are the 3 guys that are best in the league. Maybe I'm missing somebody, but I don't put him in that ultra elite category. So after that, it's kind of like the choose your flavor of Baskin Robbins. What do you like, right? He's somewhere between running back number 5 and running back number 20. And if you put him in the right system and you use him the right way, and the Chiefs have been really, really good at that, as obviously you guys know better than me, he could be a really productive, effective player for them. So again, I'm not coming on here to tell you that they've made a mistake or anything like that. He's a good player, and if used the right way, he could even be a great player. I don't think he's a player that on his own makes enough of a difference that a team like the Seahawks, who had a lot of really difficult decisions to make, I don't think that it was a move that they needed to do to bring him back.
How would you rate his hands? How would you rate his pass blocking? Those are two things that are pretty important in the Chiefs offense, and I've heard some questions about those two things with Kenneth Walker. Where would you say he is?
Below average. The pass blocking is always a want-to thing, and I thought it was concerning that he wasn't a big want-to guy on that front. They brought in Zach Charbonnet for most third downs, even though Charbonnet's not a prototypical, third down Dave Meggett, old school scat back. Like Charbonnet was bigger, stronger, more physical. They would use Charbonnet on third downs to catch the ball, third downs to pass block, and honestly, inside the 20s as much more of a goal line type of running back. Those were sort of the three weaknesses of Walker's game. I actually never really minded his ability as a pass receiver. I know he had a drop in the Super Bowl, and Collinsworth kind of made it sound like he wasn't good at that, but I just didn't I think he's fine, especially catching screens. He's not one of those running backs where you're like, oh, you can always split him out and he can run routes like a wide receiver. He's not that, but he can catch a screen capably and turn upfield and kind of do that stuff. I worry about him much more in the red zone and in pass blocking. I don't think those are strengths.
Right now, we're talking to Mike Salk of Seattle Sports. We're getting his thoughts on Kenneth Walker, who is leaving Seattle and heading to Kansas City. There is an injury concern that some people have. I think it's a little bit overplayed with Kenneth Walker when I'm looking at games played. I mean, he really only has 1 year, I would say, a lack of production in 2024, only played in 11 games, only had 500 yards rushing that year. But outside of that, he's been a guy to get you somewhere between 900 and 1,100 yards rushing. So I'm not really going into this at age 25, 26 with injury concerns. But this is a guy who almost has, 900 or more carries if you add up the postseason. He's a guy that does have a little bit of wear and tear. Is that something you're worried about him heading into his second contract?
Yeah, I would say so. He's been much more effective when splitting reps with Charbonnet, and maybe he was the 1A and Charbonnet was more of a 1B, but they were more effective certainly when they were splitting reps. I say that, and then obviously he came alive over, once Charbonnet got hurt. And then the last 4 games, he was really, just tremendous through the end of the season and into the playoffs this year. But I think a lot of that was because he was fresh enough because they hadn't overused him over the course of the year. I would definitely be concerned about using him as a lead bell cow back all year long and then expecting, really great production and health from him come playoff time.
Do you think he needs a 1B? Because one of the things that I think really helps Seattle, and I understand the last couple of games they have the injury to Zach Charbonnet, is I think having that other guy that got 180 touches for Seattle's offense was really big. They had like a thunder and lightning kind of thing going on in Seattle that I thought was really effective. Is he a guy that you think needs a 1B, or do you think he can be RB1 and get 250 carries?
See, this is hard. So, I got to confess to all of your listeners, Carrington, you and I talk about this stuff all the time, and you come on our show when there's, relevant news and vice versa. I'm low man on Ken Walker. I'm probably the low man on Walker in all of Seattle. If there are other guests that I could have pointed you to today who would have come on and said, this guy's awesome, he needed a chance to break free, I could have given you my producer, Maura, who's a huge fantasy person. She was ready to kill me today because she loves this guy and thinks that he is an A-plus type of running back. I always thought he should have been 1B in Seattle behind Charbonnet. Like, I preferred Charbonnet's fit in this system. Not that Charbonnet's a better runner, but both guys were second-round picks, drafted around the same spot. I like Charbonnet's north-south style, which I thought fit the Seahawks better and fit Mike Macdonald's kind of general idea for what he wanted the team to be better. So, if you asked me what would be the best thing for Ken Walker, I would make him the 1B and find a 1A. I'm low man on Walker. That's not going to happen. Obviously, with the amount of money they paid him, they believe he is a starting running back. But I do think that it is very helpful to have a second guy around him.
I'll get you out of here with this. And I use issue as very, very light that I think you have with Kenneth Walker. I think you and I agree. He is a good player. I question how great of a player that he is. But I also look at him just looking at Kansas City's offense. I think they need explosiveness. I think he provides that. I think they needed a physicality that he has that they also just didn't have last year in the running back room. Is your issue, I guess, with Kenneth Walker on a second contract, certainly not on a rookie contract, different conversation, is your issue with the player, or is your issue now with the contract that now he's being paid like he's Derrick Henry, being paid like he's Christian McCaffrey, and not being in that category in your mind?
That's a good question. It's definitely with the contract, but, every team is in a different salary cap spot. I don't know, obviously, enough about Kansas City's to tell you whether they could afford him. That's much more your job than mine. But, the Seahawks could not have afforded to pay him what the Chiefs did and tried to make their system work next year. So for us in Seattle, the contract's yeah, good luck. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate what you've done. As a player, again, I like him. I don't love him. I think he's a good piece to have around, but I'm not convinced he's, necessarily a top flight, top tier running back. I would also say as a guy, he seems like a really good dude. I mean, he's not going to be a big media presence. He doesn't have a tremendous amount to say publicly, but by all accounts, pretty well liked in the locker room. Brock will tell you, my partner Brock, who used to do college football games, would tell you he was the Michigan State program. They loved him there. He was considered to be the guy who really helped make that team go when he was there, not just because of what he did on the field, but who he was off the field as a leader. I don't know that we saw as much of that in Seattle, and there was even some thought early this year that they might trade him at the deadline, that maybe the switch from Pete Carroll to Mike McDonald and Clint Kubiak was not perfect for him, and that was just chatter. Obviously, it worked out really well for him by the end of the year, so something must have kind of clicked there. But by all accounts, a great dude. I would say a good player. And for the Chiefs, look, I think he's actually a really good fit there. I think everything you just said about the explosiveness, I would think he would do great with Andy Reid.
Mike, we've had a lot of firsts on this show, and you've done this long enough, things happen. I've never seen the text line ask if we could get a different Seattle voice to talk about Kenneth Walker than we just
totally
had.
Fair.
I'm saying overwhelming. Hey, can we please get a different Seattle voice? I love you, Mike. You are not very popular right now, though.
No, I'm not surprised. And I tried to admit it. I tried to tell you guys, look, you're asking somebody who for the last couple of years has said each year, I kind of think Charbonnet should be getting more carries than Walker. And so, I didn't play the game. I'm not an analyst. I'm a radio host. I did not, I fully admit all that stuff. So I don't blame your listeners. I can hook you up with some other people that might give you a much more glowing review and tell you that having the Super Bowl MVP is the greatest thing in the world. But that's one game. I watched the guy for 4 years. I know what I saw. I think he'll be better in Kansas City than he was here in Seattle.
That is our guy, Mike Salk, who now we have him doing Rob's job and booking guests for us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Mike, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot for your time.
Anytime, buddy. And I'm sorry to the people of Kansas City.
That is my guy, Mike Salk, joining us on the show today. I wish you guys could have seen the devilish grin that Rob has on his face. Rob ambushed us. I wasn't expecting that from Mike Salk. I like Mike. If I had to make a list of my 10 favorite sports talk host guests that we have on the show, Mike would be very, very high on the list. That's not what I was expecting. Rob clearly knew. Rob, producing the show, was asking some questions, and he could have gotten the positive, hey, banner day for the Chiefs move, and he tried to sabotage us. Now, two things. There's two things. Number one, I hate this phrase. I hate this. Text line, 913-586-7965. Guys, he's right. We overpaid. It's free agency. By the literal definition in free agency, if you sign a player Most of the time. I'm not going to say every single time. There are examples, but very rarely for a guy that wasn't on your team, you are willing to sign him to a contract that nobody else was willing to sign him to. That's how this works. Now, sure, there are examples. Those are usually guys that are on your team. Yes, Travis Kelce is taking a little bit less money to stay in Kansas City because he's been on the team his entire career. Yeah, guys will end up doing that. You were not convincing Kenneth Walker, who was a highly coveted free agent, maybe the most in the National Football League. You are not getting that guy to come in and take less money. Not when he is at his absolute hottest right now. If this was a musician who got a couple of songs right now that are trending on TikTok, now's the time to go to the label and get paid. And that's who Kenneth Walker is. Now, I will say this too. I understand where Mike Salk is coming from. Now, I like the signing. Please don't get this confused. I do like the signing. I am all for them signing Kenneth Walker. If you just look at his numbers, he is a good running back. He's good. He is not great. He is good. I don't know if there is another level for Kenneth Walker. I'm fine with that. I understand that they took a big swing at running back. I think this is a substantial upgrade, not just in the running back room, but on weapon in general right now. I think they signed their best skill position player today that has a value to me. So I like the move. But I also think if we are just removing the Chiefs color glasses and just looking at the player and looking at the football card, I think he is a good player. He is now making Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor money. So I can understand how if you were a team that had him on a second round contract, so you had him you had him on a 4-year, $9 million deal, I do understand how you can now get 2-3 for 48 and think you are spending a little bit too much money and how you're fine to let that guy go. That is the conversation that we have at running back quite literally all the time. Now, Kansas City is on the other side. They don't have a running back, so they went out in free agency. But I didn't hear that, and I didn't hear this. And maybe I'm giving Mike the benefit of the doubt. I did not hear this like he doesn't think that Kenneth Walker is a good football player. I heard that as Kenneth Walker is a good football player that we as an organization, we meaning Seattle, we are happy to not pay him like he is one of the 5 best running backs in the league, and we are happy to just start the process over again because we think we can find another Kenneth Walker in the draft. That is how I heard it. Now, that is not how the text line heard it, but that is how I heard what he had to say.
First off, I don't know why you're back here accusing me of booking poorly.
That 100%. No, I know.
That was an excellent guess.
I don't think you booked
fantastic.
Poorly. I think you knew what side he was on.
No notes.
I think you knew what side he was going to be on, and you knew you had a chance to go get the positive Seahawks interview, and you thought, no, I'm okay. Let's get the guy that thinks he's just okay. I know what you were doing here. I know the game. I do this job too. You knew what was going to get the text line all hot and bothered. You knew what was going to get people riding around in their cars all mad. Don't play innocent with me. I might have been bored at night. I wasn't bored last night. I might have been bored during the day. It wasn't yesterday. I know this. I know what you were doing. You were being sneaky.
I also made cuts because I think he made a lot of excellent points on this show.
You did. I mean, cut that bad boy up.
I was making snippets back here.
That's what you are. You're sick.
I do think he makes a good point, and it's the point I will continue to make. Kenneth Walker had a great playoffs and a great Super Bowl. But I think because of that, the Chiefs are having to pay a little extra premium for a good player. Mike Salk said exactly what I say, by the way. The difference between running back 8 and running back 20 is negligible. But you're now paying running back, top 5 running back money for a guy who gets caught up in that wash. He is not a top 5 player. He's just not. Not a top 5 player in his position. He's paid like it, but he is not that. So I think what people are conflating is, hey, the Chiefs got better today. And that's true. But I think they overpaid for the value of that player. And I think the reason they overpaid, and I don't like that term, is because he has MVP next to his name for one game. But Mike Salk said he's inconsistent, he runs east and west too much, and doesn't have a good try factor in pass blocking. Those are things I'm not paying premiums for.
And that's fair. This is the analogy I will make. And tell me if you think I'm wrong, if you think this is a bad analogy. 913-586-7965. Tell me if you think this is a bad analogy. The Chiefs have not had a car for the last couple of years. In fact, the Chiefs have been walking. So, yes, maybe the Chiefs overspent on a car. And if they had done a little bit better job checking the Kelley Blue Book, they would have got much better value. But you want to know what? They got a reliable car that can get them to work every single day. I think that's what Kenneth Walker is. I think he is reliable. I don't think he is great. I'm not once have I sat here and told you I think he's Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor was the first half MVP last year. I'm not here telling you I think he's Christian McCaffrey. I don't think the text line. I don't think listeners. I don't think Chiefs Kingdom. I don't think anybody thinks that's what he is. They have been so unreliable at running back over the last couple years. Did they overcorrect? Sure. Did they overpay for Kenneth Walker? I'm open to that possibility that they ended up doing that. But did they get an impact playmaker and add them to their offense? Is he a reliable, dependable one? He is not somebody that you and I are going to spend a whole lot of time this summer arguing and debating about what he's going to do. Now, I'm shooting down anybody that tells me he's getting 1,500 yards this season. That's probably not happening. But, Rob, I'm going to guess that there's going to be a wide range on what you and I think you're going to get from Rashee Rice. I'm going to guess there's a wide range on what you and I think that they're going to possibly get from Xavier Worthy. Some people are going to be like, oh, it's his breakout year. I have no clue what you're going to get from Rashee Rice. I have no clue what you're going to get from Xavier Worthy. I would say if they draft a wide receiver, no clue what you were going to get. Right now, they have two players on offense that I feel pretty confident about. I know what they're going to do next year. I feel pretty confident in what they're going to get from Travis Kelce. I feel pretty confident in what they're going to get at Kenneth Walker. That's a win to me. So, yes, they overpaid a little bit. That's free agency. They were going to overpay for something in free agency. You love Jalen Phillips. You were telling us for a week he got 4 years, $120 million today. He got 4 for $120. He had 5 sacks this year. 5. He had 1 sack last year. He got $120 million today. So day one of free agency, you're always going to see big money thrown out there. Throwing out big money at running back is not that big of a deal anymore. Just not proportion to where else you could spend big money on. You can spend big money on corner and end up regretting that deal. You can spend big money at quarterback and end up regretting this deal. Unless Kenneth Walker gets injured, knock on wood here, but that's any free agent player. I find it very hard to believe that in 2 years, you and I look back and think that he wasn't worth the contract. I think he'll have 2 good seasons in Kansas City, and if they rebuild the rest of their offense correctly, I think Kenneth Walker is going to be a major part of helping them win their division and or win playoff games. I don't know what more you can expect from your day one free agent RB1 signing.
I like your car analogy a lot. I really do. Because the Chiefs, not only do they need a car, I mean, they didn't even have a bus pass last year. The desert had more water than their run game success had success. It was really bad. What I worry the Chiefs did today is they went, man, we don't have a car, we don't have a bus pass, we have no way to travel. And they went out and they were like, you know what's on sale? A Lambo. What? You don't need that. What are you doing? A Toyota Corolla can get you to and from work. A Chevy Cobalt can get you to and from work. And those are successful cars. You don't need to have top the line because you didn't have one 2 minutes ago.
I guess what I'm saying is I was tired of them trying to get the Toyota Corolla. I think that Patrick Mahomes, I know. I think Patrick Mahomes is worth more than a Toyota Corolla. And I am tired of this organization taking Patrick for granted and saying that, oh, man, it doesn't matter what we do at running back because we got 15. Oh, it's okay at wide receiver because we got – no, I'm tired of that mentality. That mentality is how they have been average offensively for the last 3 seasons, despite having maybe the greatest offensive mind in NFL history as the head coach and having one of the most talented top 3 quarterbacks ever in the history of the game. They have got to this point because they kept trying to tell themselves, using the car analogy, that a Toyota Corolla was good enough, that Juju Smith-Schuster could find what he was in 2022. So if you were telling me that their philosophy now is we're going for bona fide proven production on offense, sign me up. Let's do this at wide receiver. Where's the Kenneth version of go get Juwan Jennings then? Overpay a little bit for Juwan Jennings, because you want to know what I know Juwan Jennings will do next year? He'll have 750 yards receiving. I don't know you can say that about Xavier Worthy. All we've done for the last 2 years with their offensive pieces have make excuses. We made excuses for Kareem Hunt. I mean, 3.7's not that bad. All we did was make excuses for Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, it was the leg thing. Nobody can be successful in this. And he doesn't run the ball enough. We made excuses for Rashee Rice. We made excuses for Xavier Worthy. I'm done with that. I want guys that we don't have to have those conversations about. I don't think you'll have that conversation with Kenneth Walker. I think you know what Kenneth Walker is. If you look at his 4-year average for the Seattle Seahawks, if he can just be that, if he can just be the exact same guy that he was the last 4 years, on average, that's about 220 carries for a little over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns and around 30 catches for 300 yards. If the Chiefs just get that at running back for the next 2 years, I am thrilled with this signing, and they now have playmaker one on their offense. We'll keep talking about this. Somebody wants to talk about the secondary. We absolutely can talk about that. Trent McDuffie got the absolute bag. Jalen Watson also got paid today, and we're also continuing to qualify people for Pop-A-Shot. You're going to hear Beer Raftery during the commercial break. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Goodness. Nuggets.
Hey, March Matchups fans. BetMGM is offering a legendary experience for you and 3 of your friends in Vegas. Climb the BetMGM Court of Legends leaderboard for a chance to win the trip of a lifetime to Las Vegas to see Haley and Hannah Cavender face off at the Bellagio. Just sign into your BetMGM account, opt into the promotion, then start placing sports bets of at least $10 to climb the leaderboard. 25 winners will take home grand prize packages that include 4 tickets to the Court of Legends event featuring the Cavender twins, withdrawable funds for travel, a 3-night stay at the MGM Grand, and MGM Resorts credit. Make this March one to remember. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offers. Subject to eligibility requirements. Withdrawable bonus dollars for flight money. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121.
We've all been there. You wake up and your knees give you that not today feeling, and it's frustrating and exhausting. Honestly, it's unfair. Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. Yeah, I didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel way older than you actually are. QC Kinetics patients are getting relief, feeling younger, and jumping back into life at full speed without surgery. The medical professionals at QC Kinetics use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science. They take the tiny, powerful healing tools already inside your body and concentrate them right where you need relief. The sooner you start, the sooner inflammation eases and joint damage slows down, because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate. Your consultation's free. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a slow go in Olathe, 35 southbound just past 119th. It is the center lane that's blocked. Again, you're going to have to split to get through here. Pay attention to what they're telling you to do. They are directing traffic 35 southbound just past 119th. Again, center lane blocked. Raytown, that's a stall right lane blocked. 435 northbound past Gregory. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
All right, I'm sure we're going to argue about running back again. Let's take a break from arguing about running back and talk about the cornerback position. Now, I'm not going to say that our show is the cause of it. I'm not going to say that. But, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. If ever we couldn't get Patrick Mahomes on the show for whatever reason, treatment, schedule didn't work out, who do we always request? We requested Trent McDuffie, right? That's what we did. So I want this to be clear. Our show has helped out the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League and the highest paid cornerback in the National Football League. If you want to get paid, you probably need to come on this show. That's the kind of power that we have. And if you remember, Rob, Trent McDuffie did not have an interception before he started coming on this show. He comes on this show, answers a couple of our random nonsense questions, turns his career around, turns his life around. He's now walking the straight and narrow. Now, when I saw this dollar amount that they gave to Trent McDuffie, I said, hey, man, good for him. Because there was no world, I mean, not anyone, not a lifetime. Maybe you're somebody that believes in that. Maybe you believe that we die and come back as chickens or cows. I don't know. But there's no world in which you think that the Chiefs were going to give Trent McDuffie this contract. He got a 4-year, $124 million extension, and $100 million of it is guaranteed. Now, I'm not mad at that deal. That is what the market says that Trent McDuffie is worth. I think he's one of the top 5 corners in the league. He is getting paid accordingly, like he is a top 5 corner in the league. He was never signing that contract in Kansas City. This is why I said last week, I thought this was a win-win-win. I think Kansas City gave themselves great flexibility, which they immediately used to go get Kenneth Walker. They now have the 4th most draft picks of any team in the National Football League. I think the Rams got one of the better players in the National Football League, one of the better defensive players, one of the better young corners in the league. And Trent McDuffie, he got 4 years, $124 million, and $100 million guaranteed. What a life. What a come up. Salute to friend of the show, Trent McDuffie, man. Now, let's talk about this Jalen Watson deal. Now, Rob, I have not seen the dollar amount. I've been scrolling around. Things been moving hot and heavy. I've been reading the text line. Can you tell me what Jalen Watson ended up signing for? Because I know Jalen Watson ended up signing with the Rams. I did not see what the dollar amount was, but I'm guessing he signed for a substantial amount of money. Can you tell me what that is?
Let me look that up real quick.
Okay, because I've not seen it. I apologize if it's out there. I have not seen it today. 913-586-7965.
Gotcha. 3 years, $51 million with 34 guaranteed.
You a little surprised the Chiefs didn't do that deal?
Considering they traded?
That's not a bad contract. That's almost in line with what I said last week. I bet if you look up Carlton Davis's deal, that's almost pretty close to identical what Carlton Davis ended up getting. Around the same age, same kind of player. I am a little bit surprised, not a lot of bit surprised, but the Chiefs have now put themselves in, I would say, there are about 5 players next year currently on the roster, because I don't know what other moves they're going to make. They are really counting on them taking a step forward next year. They're really counting on Noel Williams to take a step forward next year. They're really counting on Christian Fulton to take a step forward. They are really counting on Ashton Gelati and Omar Norman Lott. There's about 4 or 5 players that they are really expecting them to take a big jump from year 1 to year 2 or their second year in the system, and those guys are near the top of the list. I know they've never paid corner. They haven't paid a secondary player since Eric Berry. 3 for $51 for Jalen Watson's not really that bad of a contract. I'm surprised they didn't at least, peek around. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but that's a contract I'd have been happy with.
I mean, I'm actually very surprised. I thought Jalen Watson was going to get a much bigger deal than that because of the scarcity of the position, corner. He's a good player. I mean, 3 for $51 with 34 guaranteed. I would have done this in a heartbeat, especially considering I thought the game plan, which we now know was not the game plan, but I thought the game plan at this time last week was they're going to trade McDuffie and then re-sign Watson, get a good player on a cheaper deal. Then you have Watson, Williams, maybe a draft pick, maybe a veteran move, and you're in just as good a spot because you trust your scouting department. I'm surprised they let Watson walk for that deal. I'm not surprised about McDuffie. Good for him.
I will say this. I'm sorry for cutting you off there, thing. I apologize. I think it is pretty clear where the Chiefs trust themselves at and where they don't trust themselves. For example, and I like the Kenneth Walker move. You don't spend that much money at running back if you trust yourself to draft one. Like Seattle clearly trusts themselves to draft one. We drafted Kenneth Walker. We drafted Zach Charbonnet. We can just start this process over again. We can start over. We feel really confident in our ability to start over at running back. We don't have the plan yet, but by the end of this draft, we'll have our plan at running back. They trust themselves. The Chiefs clearly don't trust themselves. Hey, our way hasn't been working. We've been trying to find these diamond in the roughs. We've been trying to find these 1-year veteran running backs. We got to now overcorrect when it comes to running back. The Chiefs, on the opposite end of the spectrum, they really trust themselves at corner. You can't trust yourself in the secondary more than Kansas City has displayed over the course of the last 24 hours. Trent McDuffie, they traded. They let Jalen Watson go for a pretty reasonable and fair contract, a 3 for $51 million, and they just let Brian Cook go play for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I'm not mad at Watson. I'm not mad at them letting Brian Cook go. But you want to now talk about where they are most deficient. They are most deficient in that secondary room. I'm not saying they got enough on their defensive line, but if Ashton Gelati turned things around, their defensive line's fine for next year. I don't love their running back room, but if Rice can keep his hands to himself, Worthy next season, you're okay at wide receiver. Running back, they just made a move. They're fine at running back. Who's in that secondary right now? Noel Williams played in less than 50% of the snaps. Christian Fulton basically didn't play. When the games mattered, Christian Fulton was MIA for Kansas City last year. He didn't really start playing until the games had no meaning and no purpose for Kansas City. They are trusting themselves to the umpteenth degree that they are going to be able to figure it out when it comes to their secondary. They got to replace their number 1 and number 2 corner and maybe their best safety from last year. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work to do in one offseason and trying to shore a lot of these things up. That's why I do like the flexibility that they have at 9. And now we don't need to talk about Jeremiah Love anymore. They can go in a lot of different directions. If they take a defensive lineman, I'm not mad. If they take a wide receiver at number 9, I'm not mad. If the Chiefs traded back and then picked up a corner somewhere closer to 14 and picked up an additional asset, I also don't think you can be mad if that's the plan. The flexibility now that they have with the draft, and now that they have locked up what I think is their most important need, was just an explosive playmaker on offense, it frees you up, I think, to be able to solve this problem about the secondary. And you also have maybe the best defensive coordinator this side of Bill Belichick in league history, and maybe the best secondary coach in the National Football League, that you can start to throw a little bit more resources at starting this process over and trying to rebuild that secondary room.
I mean, it also, to me, now, I think this is dumb, but to me it shows they have a trust in Christian Fulton. Like, it was probably on this date last year we were talking about Christian Fulton getting signed. And now, I was excited about Christian Fulton a year ago, and then he played bad and then stopped playing. I think they are telling you, we trust that he is a good player, just let him figure it out. Because if you didn't trust Christian Fulton, you are not going in the next season with him being part of your plan at corner. Because right now they're kind of banking on him being part of the plan with Watson and McDuffie gone. Like, even if it's a draft pick, it's Williams, a second-year player, a draft pick, and then that's where Fulton slides in. So this to me shows the team, Spags, Merritt, pick a name, all have a much higher belief in Christian Fulton than maybe the average fan does.
I want to go through the snap counts for Christian Fulton here. We'll do that coming up on the other side. I just saw a little bit of breaking news. You don't have to hit the sounder. Tua Tagovailoa, he is going to sign a 1-year contract with the Atlanta Falcons. That is per Adam Schefter. So they have Tua Tagovailoa. They have Michael Penix now in that quarterback room in Atlanta. Tua is off the board. He is now the newest member of the Atlanta Falcons. We'll continue the cornerback conversation. I would say that's the other big conversation aside from them going out to get Kenneth Walker. What is the plan now when it comes to the secondary? Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie are both in Los Angeles. Brian Cook just signed with the Cincinnati Bengals as they're trying to clean up that sieve of a defense that they have created. The Chiefs got to get to work when it comes to the secondary. We're also going to continue to qualify people for our Pop-A-Shot tournament in the break. Matt Verderam coming up at the top of the hour. Busy show today. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single day through March 15th. From now until that final 68 is revealed, you're going to be getting daily profit boosts for a chance at boosted winnings on your college basketball bets. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single day. You're going to want to check in often to make sure you're getting those new daily profit boosts. With the conference tournaments about to get going, maybe you think Kansas is going to go all the way. Maybe you like Missouri to navigate through the SEC. If you bet with FanDuel, you can take advantage of their profit boost. So build a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout, or try live betting and jump in after the tip-off once you get a feel of the game. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued non-withdrawal profit boost token restrictions apply, including any token expiration max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard Select oil filter for just $36.99. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Goodness! Nuggets!
How old is your roof? If it's over 15 years old, it could be time to replace it before small issues become major problems. At Century Roofing, we've installed over 35,000 roofs in more than 35 years right here in Kansas City. We know what to look for, and we know how to protect your home. Schedule your free inspection today and let our team give you peace of mind. Trust the pillars of strength with KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a best man speech, but getting one from some random plus one.
I am honored to be standing here today, also confused and a little hungry. Does anyone want to switch entrees? Pretty sure I checked beef.
You wouldn't settle for just any speech, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
You've got a slow go in Olathe, 35 southbound just past 119th. It is the center lane that's blocked. Again, you're going to have to split to get through here. Pay attention to what they're telling you to do. They are directing traffic 35 southbound just past 119th. Again, center lane blocked. Raytown, that's a stall right lane blocked. 435 northbound past Gregory. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. Matt Verderam is going to join us on the show coming up in about 15 minutes or so. We'll get his thoughts on everything that is happening today in NFL free agency. Rob, let's continue to talk about this secondary plan. They are clearly going into 2026 with a lot of expectation for Noel Williams. I would say in some ways, he got the juice now. If you guys remember in the movie Juice up there on the rooftop, the guy looked at Omar Epps' character and said, "You got the juice now." I mean, that is what I'm imagining Trent McDuffie said on his way out. Hey, kid, they are counting on you now to go be cornerback number one for them. Christian Fulton last year just didn't really play a whole lot for them last season. He only played in 20% of the snaps last year for Christian Fulton. I mean, he really didn't start to play until they were done. So, Rob, just going off snaps, he played in 15, 2, 9, 1, and 2. The Chiefs then got eliminated from the playoffs. He then played in 46, 71, and 62. He was a non-factor for the first 14 weeks of the season and then was one of their most important players. So I don't even think it's fair to say he played in 20% of their snaps last year. He really played in like 5% of the meaningful snaps last year for them. So they are obviously going into the season with a very big expectation on Noel Williams. They're going into it with a very big expectation for Christian Fulton. Would have to assume that they're going to spend a decent asset on another cornerback. And they're going to run and they're going to roll the dice and trust their system, trust their scheme, trust Spags, and trust Merritt to figure out the secondary room. I don't really know what other choice they could potentially have.
Now they've done it before. we've seen them in the past believe in themselves at corner. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when me and you were arguing in 2022. And remember, they were talking about, hey, we found this, the Fab group. Remember, they had Watson and Williams and McDuffie, and they were like, our plan at corner is rookies, and we're going to be fine. And they were fine. They were right. This is the same level of belief in themselves. For a different reason, it's pro scouting with Fulton more so than it is college scouting with those three. But they are telling you, at least however many hours in the free agency or tampering period we are, they are telling you, A, we trust Christian Fulton, and B, we trust that we can find the next Jalen Watson. I mean, Jalen Watson was a 7th-round pick. I mean, he was not – I remember Mitch Holtis talked ravingly about him, but it was like, all right, he's a 7th-round pick from Washington State, cool. They got the absolute maximum out of that player. Trent McDuffie was a good player. They got the absolute maximum out of that player. Like, they are telling you, we can keep doing that. Don't worry about it.
I agree with you. I guess my answer to them would be is you got to try to solve one of the two problems. Either you need to get substantially better up front and on their defensive line, and I like the Tonga signing, but he is not a pass rush guy. He has 1 sack in his career. He is not a go after the quarterback kind of guy. He's a take up space, make things easier for guys around him kind of player. He is not a guy that you were counting on. Right now, they have a very inexperienced secondary, and right now they don't have a defensive line that you think gets after the other team's quarterback. That's a problem. So you got to fix one of these two problems. Either they need to significantly invest in pass rush and just be dogs up front, or they need a couple more playmakers. Now, it's day one in free agency. I'm not overreacting by any means, but I'm looking right now at this is their snapshot of the secondary. So Noel Williams and Christian Fulton. They have Chamari Connor, Jaden Hicks, and Kevin Knowles at safety. You got Najee Johnson and Joshua Williams. Those are your top 4 corners. They got to get to work when it comes to that secondary. I don't care how high you are on Noel Williams. They got to start getting to work. They need about 2 more Noel Williams for next year. They need about 2 more of those kind of prospects. Now, this is what you got to do. And we've always said this. The Chiefs are willing to go cheap on some positions. They're willing to spend money elsewhere. Now, they've never spent money at running back until today. But they have usually gone cheaper at secondary and trusted the system and trusted their ability to coach guys up. Well, you got to get some of the guys in here, because if you're telling me you're going into the season with Najee Johnson and Joshua Williams as your 3 and 4 corner, your depth has been severely taxed at the very beginning of free agency.
To your pass rush point, a lot of the names that I've been talking about as their big swing are starting to fly off the board. I have not hit the breaking news sounder every time a player signed, but during the show, Boye Mafe. Remember, the Chiefs reportedly tried to trade for him from Seattle last year. 3 years, $60 million deal with the Bengals. So he's off the board.
Bengals really trying to fix up that defense.
Your guy, Owe. He just signed with the Commanders. 4 years, $100 million. $68 million guaranteed.
And this is why.
And Cutie Page just signed too. I'm just saying. So a lot of those names are starting to fly off the board here a little bit.
And this is why when everybody was laughing at me last week when I kept saying, hey, if you want pass rush, it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap if you want pass rush. I think Jalen Phillips is average. He just got $100 million. What'd you say? Quiddy Pay got $85 million. You're talking about big time. Like, we're sitting here arguing about Kenneth Walker's deal. These guys are signing for twice the amount of money that Kenneth Walker has.
Cutie Pay got 3 for $48 from the Raiders. Excuse me. It was $100 for Owe.
You either draft and develop pass rush and keep them for yourself, or you overpay in free agency, and I'm saying that in air quotes for those of you that can't watch the stream. You overpay in free agency, or you go sign an old guy with some question marks. And that's why I'm still on the side. I don't care what anybody says. I'm still on the side of one contract I'd like for them to divvy up is a 1 year up to 15. Basically, Travis Kelce, but on pass rush. The same kind of contract that I think they're about to sign Travis Kelce to on a 1 year deal, I want them to go find a pass rusher that's the exact same thing. Still got a little bit of gas left in the tank, still wants to win, good in the locker room, step in day one, be a veteran, and can get after the other team's quarterback. The same way that I wanted Mike Evans, who signed for San Francisco. And like Mike Evans signed with the bad team, Mike Evans signed with the good team. Find the Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, find that equivalent, the older guy that you're willing to overpay just a little bit to come in and be a 1 year pass rusher for them, and mix that in with the Gelati, Omar, Norman Lott, whatever you end up doing in the NFL draft. I'm still on that team. If you were with impact pass rusher, those guys ain't waiting until day 3, day 4 of free agency. The guys that you would have wanted maybe at the top of your list, they're done. They're done the first 3 hours of free agency because teams are not just letting 25, 26-year-old pass rushers either go, or if you get a chance at a guy that you're willing to roll the dice on like Jalen Phillips, who he's never proven it before, but he's got a little bit of promise, teams are going to overpay for him because you don't really have a choice. There's just so few of those guys that exist.
Me and you are about to be on the same page here. They're going to need to do something more than just draft a guy at 9. Like, let's say it's Bailey, Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain. I don't care. If one of those guys available at 9, they will draft them. But their plan at pass rush can't be Karlaftis, Tonga, Jones, pick number 9.
That's not, I agree.
They need something on top of that. So, based on how the board is shaking out, it's looking more and more like it'll be one of those one-year veterans. We mentioned Bosa. I know Khalil Mack is now off the board, but he's a player that we had mentioned. I think they're going to operate in that sector, try to get a veteran who is hunting a ring on a cheaper deal, more so than giving away the $100 million the Commanders just did. Also, not breaking news sound worthy, Gardner Minshew is officially off the board.
I was just about to say that. Gardner Minshew just signed with the Arizona Cardinals. He might start for Arizona.
He got $8.25 million.
Yeah, he might start for them boys.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, he might start for them. Arizona clearly have third-round rookie starter and Gardner Minshew that's their plan. The Cardinals are tanking. They haven't said it yet. They haven't outright acknowledged it. But, yeah, the Cardinals are absolutely tanking this year. Someone just texted in, George Karlaftis is better than a lot of those guys that just made $100 million. I would say George Karlaftis kind of is those guys, and that's the difference of a team just went ahead and paid you early versus you hitting free agency. Because if George Karlaftis had hit free agency, he would have signed in the first 30 minutes of free agency. He's a 25-year-old pass rusher who has shown you a little bit of promise. There's just not that many guys like that ultimately end up hitting free agency. Teams normally do what Kansas City did. Hey, we got this guy. We like him. We think there's another gear. Let's go ahead and sign him to a deal. We're going to give you another chance to qualify for the Pop-A-Shot tournament. That's coming up here in the commercial break. We're also going to be joined by Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. The free agency news is coming in hot and heavy. We'll reset things in the 4 o'clock hour as well and kind of go through all the deals and give you our thoughts as well. Keep it locked in right here for all things free agency on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
This one brought to you by DM Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Hey, Mike's got this. Headed into downtown 70 eastbound just past College Parkway. It is the right lane blocked. Raytown, that's a stall, 435 northbound past Gregory. Move to the left through there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Rock Weather is brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Taking a look at the pro basketball futures market to win the Eastern Conference. Boston with its star player now back plus 200. Cleveland plus 325. Detroit, the current 1 seed, but losers of 4 straight at plus 400. And New York at plus 450. And I would take a look at New York at that price. And I know New York just lost to Los Angeles over the weekend, but remember, New York beat Boston last year and was up on Boston in that playoff series before Boston's star player got hurt. I do think there's currently value in New York plus 450 to win the Eastern Conference. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Goodness. Nuggets.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Net big cash at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through March 28th, earn to swipe your Caesars reward card at a Net Big Cash kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect letters to spell out winning words to score up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us March 28th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
That pallet of pavers collecting dust? The beginnings of a garden? Those stray fence posts? Are you haunted by half-finished projects on your land? John Deere is here to say, not anymore. Our compact tractors allow you to swap implements easily, and they're backed by the nation's largest dealer network. You always had the right idea, and with the right tools, those projects can get finished for good. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/compact tractors.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee means you get safe, reliable service and peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking. Spring getaway on the calendar? Start your trip stress-free with Park & Go, open 24/7 with all covered parking, so your car's protected from the elements. Quick shuttle service right to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned and operated.
Listen between 2 and 6 on Monday, March 9th and Tuesday, March 10th for your chance to qualify for the Drives Papa Shot Tournament. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Let's go to the phone lines right now to be joined by Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. There is a lot of free agency news to break down with him. Matt, man, it's always great talking to you, man. Appreciate you making time on this busy news day.
No problem. This has been free agency is always nuts, but I feel like this has been really just bonkers over the first 4 hours or so.
So let's start with the Kenneth Walker move. Let's get your thoughts on this. I knew, at least I felt, I don't say like no one told me this, but I felt pretty confident that the Chiefs were going to take a big swing at running back. I think they all but told us at the Combine, we want to get more explosive at the position. They were linked to too many guys. They were linked to Breece Hall last year. They were linked to Travis Etienne. They were linked to Kenneth Walker, and usually the Chiefs make a big-time move on day one. They did it in the first 3 hours of free agency going to get Kenneth Walker. I understand the argument that he is a good player that is now being paid top 5 position at the money. But I think more than anything, he is just playmaker number one for them, and they needed toughness. They needed explosiveness. I like the signing a lot for Kansas City and think it was a very necessary move by them. What is your take on the signing?
I concur. I mean, look, I actually would argue he might even be better in Kansas City from the standpoint that he faced nothing but heavy boxes in Seattle. I think we saw the 4th most there. Kansas City had the lightest box percentage in the league. Like, nobody stacked the box. Why the hell would you? Right? So, I mean, he's gonna see lighter boxes. He's got Eric Bieniemy now in that offensive scheme. I would imagine they're going to incorporate some of what Ben Johnson was doing last year. It's still Andy's scheme, but I would think you'll see some wrinkles. They didn't spend $15 million a year to just look at Kenneth Walker like he's Isaiah Pacheco. Like that's not going to happen. So I can tell you firsthand from talking to people in that building, dating back to pretty much around Thanksgiving, maybe a touch after. there was a significant frustration at one Arrowhead Drive that they felt like the line was doing the job, they were opening the holes, and the running back just couldn't hit them, that they just could not get yardage, even though it was blocked up. Well, you're going to get that yardage with Walker. He's one of the most explosive running backs in the league. He's fast, despite being a bowling ball, really, of a guy. And, this is probably the best line he's ever played by. I mean, they have really good interior players. Again, combine that with the light boxes. You have Mahomes. I mean, Darnold had a great year. He's not Mahomes. Geno Smith is not Mahomes. And he's not going to be splitting time with Charbonnet. So, look, I think Walker is an ideal fit for the Chiefs. He's got some hands. He's not a blocker. I would expect that they're going to have maybe Kareem Hunt even come back for a third down role, short yardage role. But I think for the Chiefs, you desperately needed somebody who could do something in the backfield. Walker's the top quality back.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Rob and I were kind of going back and forth. Rob wanted them to spend a lesser asset at running back, one of them to go get Tyler Algier, one of them to go get Kenneth Gainwell. And I guess my argument is I'm tired of that philosophy with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think part of how they got here offensively is they kept thinking this way. Well, we can make it work with Juju. We can make it work with Kareem Hunt. Like, no, go give your quarterback dogs. Go give your quarterback weapons. That I would agree. They overpaid a little bit. I don't think he's one of the 5 best running backs in the National Football League. But what I believe is they got certainty. If Kenneth Walker is healthy, and that's always a concern with any player that you sign, it's football, injuries happen. If he plays this season, he'll get somewhere between 950 and 1,150 yards and have 6+ touchdowns. That's their best offensive player that they've had over the last 3 seasons if he ends up hitting those numbers.
Okay. I did some research because I wasn't sure if I was going to write a column about this or not. So Mahomes has played in 21 playoff games. He's had 2 games where his running back has rushed for 100+ yards. Both times, by the way, it was Damian Williams. And it was Super Bowl 54 being the last time that's happened. Okay, so in 21 playoff games, 2 times he's had a 100-yard running back. He's led the team in rushing 5 times. They can't run. They can't run the ball. They have no explosiveness. They don't threaten anybody. I mean, you watch some of the tape pressure. There are times that they literally are running play action, and teams just backpedal through it. They don't even care. Like, there's no reason to care. Well, now you have to care. And to me, to your point about, you and Rob and your conversation, I've said this all season about the Chiefs. They need 3 to 5 guys, maybe 4 to 6 now, McDuffie being gone, that matter. Like, not depth guys, not guys who are part of it. They need, 3 to 6 guys or so who, when they're on the field, you need to account for them. And that can be on offense, it can be on defense, but you need guys who matter. The Chiefs have lacked that for years. They've not had a 1,000-yard receiver since Tyreek Hill. They've not had a 1,000-yard running back since 2017. They need guys that when they're on the field, they are a legitimate threat. And Walker's one of those guys.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Verderame of Sports Illustrated, going through a lot of the signings that are happening in the National Football League. We'll get to the secondary here with Kansas City coming up in just a bit. Matt, who do you think RB2 is going to be for the Chiefs? Do you think it's going to be a veteran that they go pick up? Do you think it's a mid-round draft pick? Or do you think it's Brashard Smith by the time we get to St. Joe?
I think it could be a combination. Smith will certainly be there, you'd expect anyway. I could see them bringing back Hunt on a 1-year minimum type deal. I mean, look, Hunt's really, really good in short yardage, and he's a good blocker. Knows the offense. Like, as much as people probably hear Kareem Hunt, they roll the right. Kareem Hunt has value to him. Yeah, he's not a valuable player as the guy he's been the last 2 years, but they've been trotting him out there, giving him 1 billion carries. But as a guy who, hey, man, we're going to give you 4 or 5 carries a game. We're going to ask you to pick up a handful of blitzes, and we're going to swing the ball out to you 20, 25 times. That's fine. I would think with the Chiefs, they picked up a 5th-round compensatory pick today. Like, I'd like to see them take a swing on a back in the mid to late rounds. Just say, listen, go for a guy you think's got some upside, see what happens. But I think that makes sense for them. But you're not going to invest heavily at this point because Walker's going to be the bell guy. I mean, as long as he's healthy, he's getting the ball 20+ times a game.
Right now, we're going through some of the top storylines with Matt Verderame of Sports Illustrated, going through the moves with Kansas City. All right, let's talk about the secondary. Let's move to the other side of the ball. We'll talk about the Khyiris Tonga move here in a bit. I think it's a good signing for a good player. That's a depth purpose. He's a starter. He's not a game breaker. He's not one of your top 10 players. We can get to that coming up in a bit. They got a lot of work to do when it comes to that secondary. I'm not mad at them not getting the contract for Trent McDuffie. They were never signing that deal in Kansas City. They also don't sign guys to second contract. So even at Jalen Watson's 3-year, $51 million, Brian Cook signed for $48 million. But they really, really got to get to work because right now they are counting a lot on Noel Williams, who played very sparingly at times for them. And Christian Fulton, he basically didn't play until they were eliminated from contention. They are counting on those two guys a lot heading into 2026.
They are. And I think they're confident in Noel Williams. But, Fulton, let's be real here. Fulton wasn't basically. He was benched. He was not on the field until the last 2 weeks of the year. So you sit there and go, how much confidence do they possibly have in him? I mean, realistically, yeah, he played well in those 2 games, but they didn't see fit to play him ever at any point before that. They have nobody behind them. I mean, literally nobody. Like Najee Johnson's a free agent, Josh Williams free agent. You don't want either of those guys ever on the field anyway for you defensively. Kevin Knowles and Roland Wallace, I actually like Roland Wallace in the slot. I think you can play him there and be fine. And Knowles at least was interesting. Plus, look, if there's one position that they believe in the coaching, it's still Dave Merritt. They just look at it like he will coach them up. But the reality is you've got to add a boundary corner. Even if it's a guy who's just going to come in, even if it's a rookie, you say, okay, look, he's going to compete. It's going to be him and Fulton, and it's going to be Williams on the outside. The top 2 guys are going to play. Okay, fine. You need another guy. At safety, I like Jamari Conner as a safety. He's fine as a safety. But he's a terrible slot corner, and now he's going to have to play safety, which, okay, good. That's a better position. But who else do you have? They flat out told you December they don't think Jaden Hicks can play consistently because he makes too many errors. They have no other safety behind them. Mike Edwards last year was horrific. He's gone anyway. You're going to have to add. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm looking at guys like Nick Cross, Jaquan Brisker. Can you get a guy for $10 million a year? If you can, I think that's a smart signing. Then you at least feel pretty good. Like if Hicks is your third safety, okay, fine. And then at corner, maybe you draft the guy with one of your 2 first, and you feel like, all right, look, it's not maybe the room it was a year ago, but with Merritt and some of the other talent you have, that's a reasonable secondary. It's a secondary that shouldn't be getting cooked every week.
No, it's certainly not one of those at all. I'm looking at it, and I understand that they don't normally pay corner. Are you surprised at all, though? Because given what we just saw that Trent McDuffie went for, he went for 4 years, 110. You basically could have got Jalen Watson at half off and could have got him for $50 million. Are you surprised that even after letting Trent McDuffie go, they don't just go sign Jalen Watson to that deal and give themselves, I think, a pretty good 1-2-3? If your 1-2-3 is Jalen Watson, Noel Williams, and Christian Fulton, and let's say you spend a draft pick at corner, you feel good about your secondary heading into the year?
I would have paid him. Look, my projection over at SI was I thought he'd get 18 a year. Well, he got 17. I mean, so it was right in the ballpark. And I thought Cook was going to get 13. He got 14. I mean, it's not great. I thought the Chiefs would keep one of them, and I thought once McDuffie got traded, hey, look, okay, Watson makes more sense because it's a bigger need. Now, the flip side of that is I got to see what they do the rest of free agency. Because if they go out and they sign, like I said, a Brisker or a Cross, if they go out and they add another, player, maybe a receiver or something like that, then I think you say, okay, you get the idea. They're basically loading up. Or maybe they don't sign a safety, but they sign a corner and they add another piece, maybe an edge. Their goal right now, in my opinion, should be to add a couple more meaningful players throughout free agency. It doesn't have to be today. It could be over the course of the week, whatever it is. And then go into the draft with no more than 2 significant needs. They should go into the draft going, all right, we need, for an example, we need a safety and we need a receiver. Okay, well, if Caleb Downs is there at 9, we're taking him. And at 29, pick a guy, Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, whoever, Omar Cooper. If he's there at 29, we're taking him. I mean, if you're the Chiefs, if you go into the draft with no more than 2 major needs, I think you feel pretty good. You go into more than that, now you're in a position where you got to really hope you nail this thing.
Yeah, I would say I'm looking at it where I think they need a veteran to add a veteran at some point this week from one of these 3 categories. I think they need a veteran corner. I think they need a veteran wide receiver, or I think they need a defensive end. They need a guy who has a track record of getting to the other team's quarterback. I'm fine with them signing a 1-year Khalil Mack type. I know he signed with the Chargers, but I mean an older player who had 6.5 sacks, so you can just throw in on the other side, experience you don't have to worry about. I want them to go get a veteran in one of those 3 categories.
Yeah, I mean, I like to honestly, like to me, and this is listen. Someone throwing out names so you can fill in the blank with the guy you like. But like, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm looking at, hey, can I get Rashid Shaheed and Danico Autry? Autry's a guy playing all over the line. To your point, he'll give you 5-6 sacks. He's 34. But who cares? You're signing for a year. You're not signing for 3 years. Like sign him 1 year, $5 million. And then a guy like Shaheed, the nice thing about him, he's not a number one, but he's a number two kind of type of receiver, and he's got great speed downfield, but he's also a tremendous returner. And all of a sudden, you fill that role. Their return game last year was atrocious. Well, now it's not. You have one of the best returners in football. You now also have a guy who, along with Worthy, gives you a nice little 1-2. If Rice decides, if he can play football this year, great. But even if he doesn't, fine. You go into the draft, you get a true number one receiver in theory. But I think you're right. Like the Chiefs, to me, you need to still beef up the defensive line. They added Tonga, it's a nice signing, but they need more there, and they need a receiver, whether it's a Shaheed, a Dobbs, they need somebody who they can rely on. They're not sitting there praying that Rashee Rice can play 17 games.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Verderame for a couple more minutes here, just getting his thoughts on the Chiefs free agency. This Khyiris Tonga move, you and I haven't talked about it yet. Let's talk about it now. I think this is a good signing. I don't think you can be mad about the price. I don't think you can be mad about the kind of player that he is, big physical, help you stop the run kind of guy. This is a good signing. This isn't a move that puts you over the top, but every team in the NFL makes these kinds of signings. I think you want an edge rusher, but they obviously needed to beef up the interior of the defensive line. So no more Derek Nottie, no more Mike Pennell conversations, at least as starters. This is a guy that you were counting on to be a starter on the defensive front and has done a pretty good job with it. I like this move.
Carrington, listen, we're in lockstep here, okay? And we've known each other a long time. That doesn't surprise me. Like, I think it's last year, if we had to talk about just the biggest black holes on the roster, just the worst position, running back's number one. Right? Like, running back, they could do a 30 for 30 on how bad that group was. And then defensive tackle other than Chris Jones, you looked at it and just went like, okay, I liked Omar Norman a lot early on. I thought he flashed. I actually thought he played really well for the first 3-4 weeks of the year. Then he got hurt. After him, to your point, Pennell, Nottie, those guys gave the Chiefs some really good snaps over the years, helped them win Super Bowls. They were done last year. They couldn't play anymore. Jerry Tillery's never given anybody any good snaps in the NFL, and he didn't start last year. So when they were playing one of those three guys next to John, it's just, you're getting nothing. It is 11-on-10 football. Tonga is not going to give you very much in the pass rush game. The guy's a half sack for his entire career, but he is a 338-pound run-stuffing extraordinary. That guy, you were going to put him in, he can play head up over the center. He could two-gap. He could penetrate as a one-gap defensive tackle. That's a guy who on first down, I'll tell you who's thrilled about that signing is Nick Bolton, because he's going to be shooting gaps left and right with Drew Tranquil. There's nobody. He's going to have to be doubled almost every play when you're running. So it makes everything a lot easier inside. He's the kind of a signing, never going to a Pro Bowl, you're not selling a bunch of jerseys, but he's a good player who makes other guys around him better in the run game.
What did you make of the Travis Kelce reporting this weekend? It felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. I'm guessing, this is just pure speculation on my part. I'm assuming that the two sides weren't close on money. Kelce's agency kind of leaked it out there a little bit. Hey, he wants to come back, but he's not afraid to leave. And then ultimately the Chiefs are like, wait. Deadlines make deals. And they eventually agreed on a number because both sides wanted to be together. That's what I think happened. But I'm curious, as somebody who does do some reporting, how did you read the Travis Kelce reporting this weekend?
I think similarly, but I wonder if after that got leaked out, if the Chiefs basically went to his agents, they're like, what are you kidding me? What did you going to sign with who? Who's he going to sign with? He's going to play with the Saints for a year? Like, he's not leaving, and everybody knows he's not leaving. So let's just sit down and figure this out. Now, look, there was a report that this, he could get a one-year deal up to $15 million. I'd be very, very curious. How much of that is incentivized? How much of that, is there a 4-year or two in there? I can't imagine that she's going to slap $15 million against the cap this year for Travis Kelce. I also, to be fair, I don't think Travis Kelce would want them to do that because that would really hurt their chances to win. But Kelce, if he came back, he was always playing for the Chiefs. There's no world that guy. Maybe, if he had one more year and a half after this or something, maybe he just goes, look, I'm from Cleveland. I want to retire in Cleveland. Okay, we've seen guys do it before. But beyond that, no, I thought it was, with all due respect to the people reporting it, I thought it was very oddly reported. Like, it was almost made out to be like, hey, Kelce's about to hold the team hostage. No, he's not going to do Like, there's no way he's not coming back for the Chiefs if he comes back. So in the end, listen, he'll sign a 1 year. My guess is it'll be for around 10 with some incentives. And if you're him, that's a win. If you're the Chiefs, that's a win. If you're the Chiefs offensively, the only real need you have at this point, you need another receiver. If you land that, the rest of your time can be spent fixing the defense.
I'll get you out of here with this. Give me an offensive prediction. You mentioned Shaheed. I question if they would get Shaheed because he feels pretty comparable to what they have with Xavier Worthy. But at this point, I'm signing me up for a guaranteed playmaker. Shaheed is a much better version of Xavier Worthy. Give me one name on offense you think they could sign. Give me a name on defense you think they could pick up. As to me, they are done with tier 1 of free agency. That now I think they're going to try to find deals, find value.
So I'll say, not that I necessarily am like, oh, I think they're going to do it, but I think Shaheed's an interesting guy because, to your point, there's some redundancy with Worthy, but, truthfully, here's the kind of quiet truth about Worthy. He's a terrible deep ball receiver. Worthy's value is really in the short and the mid-range. He was a very good route runner at Texas, and then the Chiefs just decided, like, well, actually, we're going to turn this guy into, like, Walmart Tyquan Thornton on the deep ball. Like, I don't know. He's not good at it. Shaheed's really good at it, and Shaheed is also an awesome returner. So I could see the Chiefs looking at that going, okay, we're going to make Worthy what he should be, which is a guy who kills on the intermediate routes, and Shaheed is our deep ball guy, assuming they don't re-sign Thornton, and he's a returner. Defensively, look, there's a lot of ways you could go here. I'm curious with the safeties. I mentioned them earlier. Jaquan Brisker, Nick Cross. Brisker's a guy who at times is a really, really good player. He's a young guy. I could see that making some sense to them. But if they feel like maybe Downs is in the offing a month and a half from now, then maybe you start looking at corner. Cam Taylor-Britt's a guy I think it's really interesting. He is super talented. He's very good as a rookie with the Bengals and kind of fell off. But you put him with merit, I think he could be really good for the Chiefs.
We just got the breaking news. It's from Tom Pelissero. The deal between the Chiefs and Travis Kelce is now official, according to Tom Pelissero, Ian Rappaport, and NFL Network. That was Matt Verderame of Sports Illustrated joining us on the show to go through all of the news and notes that are happening right now in free agency. Matt, great stuff as always, man. Always appreciate your flexibility to pop in, man. Thanks a bunch.
You got it. No problem.
Absolutely. That is Matt Verderame joining us on the show. The deal is now complete. Travis Kelce is coming back to play at least one more season in Kansas City. I would guess this is his last year, but I feel like we've been saying that now for the last 2 years with Travis Kelce. So your guess is certainly as good as mine if this is Travis Kelce's last year or not. I will tell you, if they sign Shaheed, I would be very excited about that move. And I would say that is a move that is in line with what the Chiefs would usually do if you get it. I think he might be the best kick returner and punt returner in the league. He is 27 years old. He is definitely explosive and is a legitimate big play kind of weapon. I'd be thrilled if that's what they got. I think Shaheed is exactly what people think Xavier Worthy should be. I mean, this past year, for a guy that played on two different teams, to have 60 catches for 700 yards and be able to help you in special teams, he's also not a guy like, he's not being paid top receiver money. He probably gets somewhere in that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 range. If they got Shaheed at 27 years old, I'd be really excited about that deal. That's a deal that would really, really get me going.
I would like that deal. I do worry about kind of what you said. I do worry about the redundancy of it because, and Matt's correct, I don't know why. I honestly can't figure out the why. They think Xavier Worthy is a deep ball guy. I think we've kind of seen over time, 2 years, he's not. He does not track the ball well. He does not deep threat guy. But for whatever reason, the Chiefs just try to keep him do that. If they were finally give up that dream and make him a regular...
Shaheed is exactly what they told me Hollywood was supposed to be.
Correct. And that if they actually signed that player and stopped messing around with Xavier Worthy as a deep ball guy, I would be happy. By the way, not breaking news.
I just saw the contract. I was about to say it next.
Travis Kelce, 1 year, $12 million with a maximum value of 15. So earlier when Diana Rossini said 15, up to 15, that's doing a lot of heavy lifting. It's 12 as a base, up to 15 for Travis Kelce to be back to the Chiefs.
I mean, I would be thrilled if you are telling me, and this is just all contract projections, if you were telling me that they came away in the first week of free agency, they got a starting defensive tackle, which is what Kyrus Tonjes is, So they got a day one starter at defensive tackle. They got maybe the best skill position player who was available this offseason in Kenneth Walker, certainly in the conversation. Maybe you want to argue it's Alec Pierce, but Alec Pierce makes 2.5 times more than what Kenneth Walker is. I'd much rather have Kenneth Walker at his deal than if the Chiefs had signed Alec Pierce to the contract that he signed. And they get Shaheed at 2 for $30, which is the projection that is out there. I think 2 for $30 for Shaheed is a very, very good contract, and I'd be all over it if I was a contending team. Not as if I was Kansas City. If I'm New England, I'd be interested in that deal. If I'm Buffalo, I'd be in on that deal. He's a guaranteed explosive, game-changing playmaker. Like, you can win a playoff game because of Shaheed and his speed and how much of a game-breaking kind of player that he is. I think he's undervalued in the league. I love that deal for Kansas City if they ended up signing that deal.
I would love that deal too.
I also think it just might even be a little bit expensive just based off what he's been paid so far in his career. Maybe he's not even worth 2 for $30. Maybe you get him for even less than that.
Do you think the Chiefs view wide receiver the way we view wide receiver?
I think they have to.
I mean, you say that. You always talk about big swings. Now, there's not a ton of great wide receivers available. They haven't been linked to anyone. Other than just speculation, they have not been connected. Like,
fair.
There was a ton of connectivity between running back and the Chiefs. Like, it was pretty obvious this was coming. May not Walker, but there was a sense this was coming. They have not had that level of connectivity with wide receiver, which worries me that they view wide receiver maybe different than we view wide receiver.
That is fair. I don't know how you can go into this offseason with Rashee Rice and the uncertainty around him. Xavier Worthy, who so far is, I don't want to use the B word, but there is a chance that he is a B word. I'm not going to use it yet, but it is certainly trending toward the direction of he is, I'm not going to say the word. So Rashee Rice, who knows what his off-field issues are. Xavier Worthy, who looks like he could be a disappointment. Jalen Royals and Jason Brownlee. Those are the only wide receivers that they have. So the same argument that I have at running back, you just got to get more. You don't have enough. You got 2 running backs under contract right now. They don't have enough in the wide receiver room. So they need to address it. I want them to go get a veteran. I don't want this room to be Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and the 9th overall pick, and that's in a bunch of young guys. So I would go get one veteran guy. If you're telling me Shaheed is 28 years old, explosive playmaker, solves their kickoff and kick return problem, punt return problem, and he's a guy who can get you 700 yards and be a take the top off the defense, deep ball kind of heavy hitter playmaker kind of guy, man, sign me up for that kind of player, especially at the contract I think he's going to be worth. There's a tweet I want to read to you guys coming up on the other side. We'll give you a chance to sign up for the Pop-A-Shot tournament during the break. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Football season is officially over, but the offseason is just beginning, and 96.5 The Fan will be there every step of the way. We'll have people at the Combine in Indianapolis. We'll be at Arrowhead during free agency. And yes, we'll be live in Pittsburgh for the NFL Draft in April. One of the biggest offseasons in recent history is underway, and there's only one station you need to listen to, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days if your bet loses. So here's how it works. You place a tournament bet using the token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. That's 10 chances to play all tourney long, from game props, and money lines to spreads, totals, futures, and more. You can even mix things up with a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to fill out your bracket, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the action day after day. So visit FanDuel.com/local to sign up today. FanDuel, it's time to dance. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Must apply select token each day. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Goodness, nuggets!
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 442 unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
Don't wait until extreme temps hit. Anthony makes home comfort easy. Right now, buy a new AC and get a furnace free when you book at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Very heavy through downtown. What I do see the problem causing backups on 35 northbound just before or headed into downtown West Penway. Left lane blocked there. That's the only explanation I can see for all of the red. And then we've got 435 northbound past 70, right lane blocked there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, I want to read this tweet to you guys. Now, I believe, I can't speak for Rob, I've not asked him, but I believe this is how Rob feels. So this is from Sheil Kapadia. He does fantastic work for The Ringer. He's a really smart football person. He tweeted out earlier today, after the Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker, I know the Chiefs' run game needs to be more explosive, but if Andy Reid is my head coach with Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback and I have limited resources, I am not spending $15 million per year on a day one running back of free agency. I'm going to take a day 2, day 3 draft dart throw and wait for the second wave of free agency. Now, I believe this is how Rob thinks. Now, before I give Rob a chance to answer, a lot of people, when I retweeted this, said, well, that's what they've been doing. I don't think that's what they've been doing. I don't really know how you can argue that's what they've been doing. They have never taken a day 2 dart throw at running back. They have taken late day 3 dart throws at the position. They have never just said in the second round, maybe we should take a running back here. Or in the third round, maybe we should just take a running back here. They have not done that with Brett Veach. Now, when it comes to the second wave of free agency, I would say that's what Kenneth Gainwell is. They've never signed a running back like that since he's been here. A guy on a 2-year, $15 million deal that was productive somewhere else, that now you hope that he could have that same kind of productivity in Kansas City. That's never how they've addressed the run game. Rob, the one thing that I think you and I agree with, even if we are on opposite sides of I like the Kenneth Walker move and you don't like the Kenneth Walker move, I will say when Brett Veach thinks they have a need, he will then go to the opposite end of the extreme. Now, I don't have a problem with them signing Kenneth Walker. But last year, when I was just sitting here screaming, hey, spend a third-round pick at a running back. Go get Cam Scatteraboo. I don't know if they're in this situation where they have to, on day one, go get Kenneth Walker if they had done this plan from the very, very beginning. I do think that sometimes, and maybe this is a flaw that Brett Veach has, is I think he let the running back room get so bad, and now the only way that he can see himself to get out of the running back room is to now go get the most expensive running back that is there. That it sounds to me like you wanted them to show a little bit of patience, sign one of those day two guys, sign a Kenneth Gainwell, sign a Tyler Algier, and then take a decent swing at running back. Use your 40th overall pick on a running back. Use a third-round pick on a running back. Now, maybe this wasn't the draft to do it, but that's how I hear the tweet from Sheil Kapadia, and I also think that's the argument that you were making about running back as well.
Sheil Kapadia and me are simpatico. I very much feel how he feels. And you're right. I guess my frustration is twofold with Kenneth Walker. And I do think Kenneth Walker's a good football player. I don't think they overpaid and they paid this massive premium and they're getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire Part 2. I do think they are getting a good player. My frustration is, A, like what Sheil Kapadia said, what's the game plan here? Why are you spending a super premium on running back? Carrington, just because you have, to the Brett Veach point, just because you've never spent at running back doesn't mean you have to go from 0 to 100. And that's what they've done. They've gone to the other polar opposite. You don't have to spend Derrick Henry money to fix running back. Now, we can argue about the names. We don't need to talk about Algier versus Gainwell, whatever. But if you've been doing those type of moves along the way, your running back room isn't desolate in 2025. And now you're not chasing a big money contract from a running back in the 2026 free agency period. So we actually agree. The Chiefs have never taken the small swings at running back. My frustration is Brett Veach doesn't operate in small swing world. It's, hey, we have a problem. It's fix it the highest possible level. Like he did with Orlando Brown at left tackle in the past. He's done it with Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu in the defense in the past. It is, here's the problem. I'm going to go 0 to 100 to fix it, which frustrates me.
This will be my argument. And this is why, like, sometimes, Rob, I feel like, am I living in a crazy world? Like somebody just texted in CDOT, the Chiefs have taken a lot of early swings at running back and they've never come through well. When have they taken a lot of early swings at running back? Was I here when this happened?
The one time. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the one.
They've taken one swing at running back in 7 years at running back. Am I here? Like, I don't even know what's happening now when it comes to this. This would be the analogy I would use. Now, maybe this is a bad analogy, but this is the analogy that popped in my head while you were talking. I think the Chiefs trust themselves at corner. So on dates, they can be a little bit more creative and a little bit like more outside the box. I don't think they trust themselves when it comes to running back. So they just on date one, hey, I want to take you to 1587. Rob, you and I have been on dates before. You don't got to go to 1587. But if you want to make the big impression and maybe you don't have a whole lot of creativity, I'm just going to swing super big. That's what I think they did at running back. This is not a move to me of an organization that really trusts themselves and has this philosophy when it comes to this. Think about this. They are more willing to pay at running back than they are at corner. They might be the only team in the NFL that has that philosophy. They might be the only team in the NFL that is willing to spend a significant contract at running back, but seems allergic to it at corner. They trust themselves in one aspect. They don't trust themselves at running back. So to me, if you don't trust yourself and you know where you are weak at, which it is identifying running back talent, then the best thing you can do is just overpay in free agency and solve the issue. That's what I think they did. This is a problem to me that I don't think Brett Veach trusts that he can solve. I think he went on YouTube and tried to learn how to do it. He then went under the sink for himself and then eventually just threw his hands up and said, I got to call a plumber. Like, I don't have the ability to fix this. So who's the best guy that's out there? Let's go get him. Even though in some ways Kenneth Walker is not really their ideal kind of running back. They normally like a running back who can catch the ball a little bit. He's not great out of the backfield catching it. They normally like a guy that can pass block a little bit. Also, not the greatest of pass blocker. I really think they had a need. They don't trust their scouting department. They went out and said, who is the best running back we can possibly get? And if they didn't get Kenneth Walker, they were going to get Travis Etienne. I'm 100% convinced of that now. They were not leaving this free agency period without Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and Travis Etienne. They were going to do whatever they could to go get one of those guys. Now, I'm not mad that they did that, and I'm happy that they acknowledge this is not something we are good at. They would never do this at corner. They would never have this philosophy at corner. They have it at running back. Now, at least for me, I can't all year say, hey, they got to get more explosive. They got to invest in the running back room. They invested in the running back room. They don't like it. I like the move to go get Kenneth Walker. And I think he gives you a very, very high floor of what the expectation is going to be. And I think where maybe you and I are on a little bit different plane when talking about this is he is not just running back one to me. He is now their best skill position player. He's their number one skill position player. I don't know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. I don't know what's going to happen production-wise with Xavier Worthy next year. If Travis Kelce has more yards from scrimmage than Kenneth Walker, something went terribly wrong with Kenneth Walker this past year, I would say that right now, you didn't just sign running back number one. They signed playmaker number one. They needed those. And I like Tyler Algier. That is not who he is. Kenneth Gainwell is a fine player. He is not a playmaker, difference maker kind of guy to me. That's what I think they signed, and that's what I think they were willing to spend a premium for. They were willing to spend a premium on a guy who changes the course of games, and that's what I think you saw Kenneth Walker do over the final 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
That's fine, but we will be monitoring that all season because if it's I'm not going to say week 17, if it's week 9, the halfway point of the season, and the Chiefs, it's clear Travis Kelce is still weapon one for the team, are you going to pivot on the move? Because if Kenneth Walker...
I'm telling you, if Travis Kelce is weapon number one on this team, something went terribly wrong and Kenneth Walker got hurt. Because there is no reason in the world that Travis Kelce should have more yards from scrimmage than Kenneth Walker unless he gets hurt. If Kenneth Walker is just... I don't even need him to take a jump forward. Be the same running back that you've been. I don't need you to turn into somebody you're not. I mean, it'd be great. If he turned out to be Jonathan Taylor, fantastic. If he turned out to be Derrick Henry, fantastic. If he can run for a little over 1,000 yards, have 200 yards receiving this year, and have 1,200 yards from scrimmage, if Travis Kelce does better than that this season, then the Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl. They're winning the Super Bowl this year if they get that version of Travis Kelce. So, yes, if Travis Kelce has more yards from scrimmage than Kenneth Walker, either he is having one of the best years of his career or something went terribly wrong for them at running back and a significant injury happened where he can't see the field. We can continue talking about this on the other side. We'll reset things. Actually, no, we got a Seattle person coming on, right? You fixed it. You got a positive Seattle person coming on the show. We needed that. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
FanDuel is giving customers a profit boost every single day through March 15th. From now until the final 68 is revealed, you're getting daily profit boosts for a chance at boosted winnings on your college basketball bets. Trust me, you do not want to miss a single day. You're going to want to check in often to get those daily profit boosts. As we enter conference championship week, you know I'm not giving up on my Jayhawks because Darren Peterson is going to warm up. And when he does, I promise, watch out. Build a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout or try live betting and jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
When you've thrown over 4,000 innings like I have, you know joint pain isn't a maybe, it's a guarantee. For you, was it climbing ladders or too much heavy lifting? Hey, we're all in the same boat. But surgery, that was never my answer.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens knows there's a better way. That's QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No scalpels, no fake fixes, just real relief.
What I love about QC Kinetics, these are the most respected medical pros in the country that specialize in non-surgical therapies to get you moving again.
Don't mask the pain, fix it. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
I trusted QC Kinetics. You should too.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Goodness, nuggets!
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The greatest insult the Colonel ever suffered was being served a wrap that was just a snack by a friend. So he took 2 crispy tenders, lettuce, tomatoes, and pepper mayo, and wrapped them in a soft tortilla. It wasn't a snack, it was a meal. He called it a twister, and never called that friend again. The Colonel lived, so we could chicken. The Twister, now back at KFC, classic or with bacon. Also try it spicy. It's finger-licking good.
Prices and participation may vary.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
This one brought to you by DM Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Hey, Mike's got this. Headed down to Grandview, a little bit of a slow go, 49 southbound, just past Red Bridge. The stall tried to make it off to the left shoulder, blocking part of the left lane. Near Overland Park, 35 southbound, past 75th. That's a stall off to the right shoulder, and a lot of onlooker delay. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Rob, I really don't like you, man. You're my brother, and you know that. I don't like how your anti-running back ways always has the text line lumping us together. Like the text line is saying, I don't like the move. What have I said today that would suggest that I don't like the signing to go get Kenneth Walker? Has there been one thing I've said today, Rob, that would suggest that I'm not completely in favor of them going to get Kenneth Walker? Rob, whenever the free agency started, what did I say I thought their big move was going to be? I said I thought they were going to get Breece Hall. They basically got the best available free agent run. I can't believe you have been so anti-Kenneth Walker, and you sabotaged our show earlier today, that now you got the text line lumping me in like I'm hating on the move. I haven't done anything to make anybody think that I'm against this move. I give it an A. I love the signing. It was the best possible signing they could have made today. So don't lump me in there, Rob. I don't mind throwing you under the bus. To level out your hate, we have Mara Dooley joining us on the show. So earlier today, we had on Mike Salk. he was an even bigger hater of Kenneth Walker than Rob was. So we had to get somebody on who would sing his praises. Mara, thank you a lot for coming on the show today.
Oh, you are welcome. I'm sorry that you had to deal with Salk.
You know what? It's okay. I've been dealing with Salk for a long time now. I'm used to it. You got to deal with them a lot more than me. Tell us why Kenneth Walker is one of the better running backs in the league.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's because he has some really elite athleticism. When he gets into the open field, he's got some speed. I think he has some of the highest broken and missed tackle numbers in the league since he came in. So I think there's a lot to like there. And if you look at his overall numbers, before kind of his breakout at the end of this year, that might not stand out. But I blame that much more on the offensive coordinator carousel that the Seahawks had going on before that and offensive line struggles than I would on him.
So Salk's argument, and I don't think it's a bad argument, his argument was on a rookie contract, I like Kenneth Walker, but now paying him like a top 5 running back, I don't like the move. Do you think there is another ceiling for him? Just the amount of stack boxes that he saw in Seattle. That's certainly not going to be the case in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes and the offense that they have. Do you think there's a chance that there's another ceiling for Kenneth Walker than we saw his first 4 years in Seattle?
I do. I think that, like I said, when Shane Waldron was there was a whole war going on between Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson over that offense that I think he was just stuck in the middle of and didn't know what to do. And then you get Mike McDonald in there, and he brings in Ryan Grubb from UW, a college coach, first time being an offensive coordinator, and that was a real struggle. They really just could not get anything going in the run game at all that season. They really couldn't even stay on the field long enough to run the ball. So you can't blame that on Ken Walker. And then also, he's always been in kind of a split situation. They like to use 2 back there. And I was going through it actually before I came on with you guys. I think he hasn't had, I think it was 9 times total in the time that he's been in Seattle that he's had more than 20 carries. And he still had 2,000-yard seasons, a 900-yard season. And then the only season where he didn't get close to that was when he only played 11 games.
Well, Mara, I'm going to tell you this right now. He ain't getting 20-plus carries in Kansas City. I don't think that's going to be happening if I know Andy Reid and the way he runs his offense. What about his hands and his pass blocking? How do you grade out? How do you think he handles those 2 things?
Well, the pass blocking, I would say, is average. That's definitely something that they relied on their other running back, Zach Charbonnet, for a little bit more. But I did think that he, put some more into that in the playoffs and obviously did pretty well. But that's an area for improvement.
That is Mara Dooley joining us on the show. She is with Seattle Sports. We just needed a positive voice for Kenneth Walker to wash out Rob and Mike Salk, who was on the show today. Mara, I have never seen the text line. We have Mike on. He came on at 3 our time. I've never seen the text line say, can you please get another person from Seattle to talk about this? He was universally hated on the text line.
I believe it. And I have to tell you, he just, every time Zach Charbonnet had maybe like a better game or they gave him more carries, he would text us and say, like, Zach Charbonnet's greater than Ken Walker. And that's just not true. I don't know where his bias came in, but he had it early on. So I wouldn't go with what he says. I think that you see his explosiveness. You saw it throughout the playoffs. He is a guy that has a lot of skills and traits that are exactly what you want in a running back. And I think that he's still got more to show. There were some injuries that held him back early on. And then I think once Kubiak got his offense installed the way he wanted to and the offensive line clicking this year, you really saw what he's capable of.
That is Mara Dooley joining us on the show today. She is with Seattle Sports. Thank Mara. Really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is Mara Dooley joining us on the show today. Rob, this is, I would say, the biggest point of disagreement that you and I have. I think the Chiefs were very deficient in 4 rooms. They were very deficient at running back. I would say right now they're deficient at corner. They're deficient at wide receiver and on their defensive line. I would say those 4 rooms, they need to start over in some ways. I think for the money, The cheapest one that they could resolve on day one was what they did. You are not solving your cornerback issue, I think, in this year's free agent class. There isn't that guy that you would sign, especially for an organization that has made it very clear that is not something we are willing to pay for. The Chiefs have shown us what they are willing to pay for. They will pay for offensive line. They'll play for defensive line. They'll show you they'll pay for running back. Brett Veach has been the general manager for 7 years? They have never shown they are willing to spend money at corner. So we knew today they were not going out and spending any big-time contract when it came to corner. Wide receiver-wise, I still think they're in the market to get a wide receiver. I'd be a little bit surprised if the Chiefs let this entire free agency period go and they didn't bring in one wide receiver. Now, we might argue on who that guy should be. Maybe you want Darnell Mooney. Maybe I want Shaheed. We might argue, but I do think they're going to end up signing a veteran wide receiver at some point here during the free agency period. D-line wise, I think you and I are on the same page. They need pass rush. Pass rush is not cheap right now. All of the guys that you would possibly throw out as names on multiple year contracts ended up signing big time kind of deals. So maybe the argument is they could have taken this money and gotten this guy or this guy or this guy, but you would have had to throw a little bit on top. I think they looked at their 4 biggest problems heading into the offseason, and I think in one move they addressed it. Now, they need to do something else. Like, you can't just have 2 running backs on your roster, injuries, all of those kind of things. But of their 4 biggest problems, running back, corner, wide receiver, and DN, they addressed it in the first 2 hours of the offseason. The first 2 hours. Now, let's see what they do with the rest of their resources, the rest of the cap space, and let's see how the rest of free agency plays itself out. But running back is no longer a concern anymore. They got a 1,000-yard back on their team. They didn't have that for the last 5 seasons. They have not had that on their team. So that's why I think you and I are looking at this a little bit differently is, yes, I will agree with you in theory that I think they overpaid, that I do not think that Kenneth Walker is one of the 5 best running backs in the league, and he is now the 4th highest paid running back in the league. So just fundamentally, I agree with you that they overpaid. I think that running back, especially essentially on a 2-year deal, that is a position group that I'm fine with you overpaying because it is the 2nd lowest paid position in the National Football League. The only position that makes less money than running back is center. It's the only position. So if you're telling me that they overpaid for Kenneth Walker, but that would basically make him the 29th highest paid wide receiver in the league, but you think he can be a guy that gets you 1,200 yards from scrimmage, that is an overpay that I am willing to live with as they are trying to retool their offense and just be so much more explosive. We will reset things coming up at the top of the hour. The Chiefs, very active in day 1 of free agency. They signed Kenneth Walker. We'll get you all the contract details. They also got Kyra Tonga on the defensive line. We'll go through those moves next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
This one brought to you by DM Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Hey, Mike's got this. Headed down to Grandview, a little bit of a slow go, 49 southbound, just past Red Bridge. The stall tried to make it off to the left shoulder, blocking part of the left lane. Near Overland Park, 35 southbound, past 75th. That's a stall off to the right shoulder, and a lot of onlooker delay. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Goodness, nuggets!
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Ready to watch your favorite baseball stars play in the WBC? Get in on the action with BetMGM. Sign in to your BetMGM account and enjoy a WBC Odds Boost token to snag even more winnings on your next bet. It's easy. Just log into BetMGM Sportsbook app, add your WBC bet to your bet slip, and activate your Odds Boost token. If you win your bet with your token activated, you'll score extra winnings. 3 quick steps, and you could be on your way to extra winnings if your next WBC bet hits. The world's greatest baseball players are about to duke it out on a global stage. Don't miss out on the fun and some extra excitement to this year's tournament by signing in to your BetMGM account and grabbing your WBC Odds Boost token today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
If you're like me, you're feeling the pinch of high prices right now on just about everything. And that's where my friends at Hy-Vee come in to save the day, because they're always finding ways at Hy-Vee to save me money, like amazing fuel saver deals. Shop Hy-Vee this Saturday and Sunday and get a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount when you spend $60 on groceries. And you can stack up the savings on Hy-Vee fuel saver deals, and your next fill-up could even be free. There's nothing better than saving money, only at Hy-Vee.
I hope you are sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and is 30 to 60% lower cost than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you're a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Matt B. and KC for an instant quote over the phone. 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
Burns' season preview show is Thursday, March 12th, starting at 6 o'clock, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. So we have been talking about the top story. The top story is the Kansas City Chiefs have taken a very big swing on day one of free agency. They have signed current Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker to a contract. 3 years, a max of $45 million with a base salary of $14.35 million. $28.7 million of the contract is fully guaranteed. Now, if you are comparing this to other running back contracts that are out there, this is basically the contract that the Indianapolis Colts signed Jonathan Taylor to. Jonathan Taylor signed a $42 million contract for 3 years and got around this in guaranteed money. So if you were talking about like total length of the deal, contract, all of those things, Kenneth Walker is now the third highest paid running back in the National Football League if you were talking about like totality of the deal. Now, I don't have a problem with this. Rob, as you would imagine, he got a problem with it. He plays running back. Rob always wants them to go to the bargain clearance bin for running back. He hates that they can get a brand new release. I want to watch centers. I don't want to watch Major League Tube in the $5 bin on this road trip. That's where Rob lives, and that's who he is. He's been consistent in that. This is where I'm different than Rob, and why I 100% approve of this move, and why for the last 2-3 years I have been banging the drum for them to be more explosive in the run game. I think the Chiefs are desperately missing two things. I don't think the Chiefs have a lot of proven playmakers between the ages of 22 and 26 years old. I don't think that's what Rashee Rice is. I don't think that's what Xavier Worthy is. They certainly don't have anybody else in the running back room or another receiver that you think is a part of this conversation. So I am looking at Kenneth Walker from a very simple, I now know all summer what to expect from their run game and what to expect from their running back. We spent the last year debating, well, if Isaiah Pacheco can get back healthy, he can maybe do this or no. Whatever you think the best version of Isaiah Pacheco is, that is the floor for Kenneth Walker. His floor is him running for 900 yards this season. His ceiling is probably running for 1,100 or 1,200 yards this season. So I'm looking at it through that lens. I'm not looking at it as just them fixing the running back room. I am looking at this as them solving an explosiveness problem and a playmaking problem. I think where Rob and I maybe disagree the most is I like Kenneth Gainwell. Tyler Algier, very, very good player. I don't think they're haymakers. And I got tired of watching the Chiefs jab a lot on offense. I got tired of watching the Chiefs try to put together these 10, 11 play dink and dunk drives and move the ball methodically down the field. Wasn't it fun when the Chiefs could just put 4, 5, 6 play drives together, big play here, big run play here, explosiveness, attack from all angles? They've lost that ability on offense the last couple of years. So we spent a lot of time talking about building a structure around Patrick Mahomes and trying to make the game easier for him. Man, a big reason why you do that is with explosive players. Now, I know I've said this, and Rob, you have been here. Explosive plays come from explosive players. That, yes, you can scheme it up all day, and that is a major part of it. But you need explosive players out there. And the Chiefs, you are not getting explosive offense in your run game from Kareem Hunt. You are not getting explosiveness from Isaiah Pacheco, who was a shell of himself in the final 20 games that he was in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. You get explosiveness from what they just picked up at running back. You don't believe me? We can go through the numbers. Now, I didn't have these numbers. Shout out to Price Carter and the fine people over there, Arrowhead Attic. Last year, the Chiefs running back as a whole, they had 22 carries that went for at least 10 yards. Kenneth Walker had 33 of them by himself last year. Last season, on carries where the runner reached at least 15 miles an hour, the Chiefs running back room as a whole had 24 of those last year. Kenneth Walker had 67 of those this past season. The Chiefs did not have a running back hit 20 miles an hour. Kenneth Walker did it twice last year. So I'm just thinking of the level of explosiveness that the Chiefs are going to have. It is not something that they have had in their run game in the last couple of years or so. They have not had the ability to turn around and hand the ball off and hope that that play goes for 17 yards or 24 yards, or that your running back had a chance of carrying you and having 18 carries for 126 yards and a touchdown, and you won because you controlled the line of scrimmage with their run game. That's not the kind of offense that they had. I know you guys think that I'm anti-Travis Kelce, and I promise you I am not anti-Travis Kelce. What I am anti is building your offense around a 35, 36, and 37-year-old. That's not what good offenses do. You build your offense around 25-year-olds and 26-year-olds and 27-year-olds. That's what I believe they are in the process of doing. So I love this move to go get Kenneth Walker. I want them to keep going. They got a good idea going. I don't want to stop them. I want you to keep the good ideas flowing. I want you to go find an impact wide receiver, a guy that we are not guessing if he's going to be suspended or not, a guy that we made excuses for all of 2026, 2025, and said, well, he was hurt, so his second year didn't count. I'm talking about a guy right now that we can pencil in. That guy's going to have at least 700 yards receiving next year. Can you find that guy? Because that's who I think Juwan Jennings is. That's who I think Shaheed could be. I think both of those guys could be that kind of player. I'm tired of watching the Chiefs offense struggle. There's no reason you should struggle on offense when Andy Reid is your head coach. There's no reason why you should struggle on offense and be 16th or worse on points scored for the last 3 consecutive seasons when you have maybe the most talented quarterback in the 70-something, 100-year history of the National Football League. It is absolutely inexcusable. Today, they took a step in the right direction of having more oomph when it comes to their offense. So if they overpaid a little bit by running back standards, okay, fine. I don't really care. The difference in Rob and I is I'm looking at this as a playmaker contract. And if we put all the tight ends in a pot, if we put all the running backs into a pot, all the wide receivers, all of the guys that either run the ball or catch passes, Kenneth Walker probably has like the 40th best contract in the National Football League. That's fine with me. This is a guy that's going to touch the ball between 200 and 250 times in this offense. This is a guy that can run for 1,000 yards. This is a guy who can take the pressure off of your quarterback, which is the whole point of this thing. I love the signing. I give it an A. I wanted them to do this for 2 years now. I have been banging the drum louder than anybody. I was banging the drum when you guys told me running back wasn't important and they were mix and match and it didn't matter. I was still standing here firm. I feel like I won today. They finally listened to me and they invested running back and they invested in an explosive playmaker that can help change the game for them. So, Rob, go ahead, come in with your rain cloud and be Buzz Killington, but you are not going to blow this for me.
You know what's crazy is I actually don't think we're all that different. It's just I get frustrated by the process because I think the process is wrong. Me and you agree, their run game stunk in 2025. Like, there are probably words more harsh than stunk I could use, but I don't feel like the FCC should be looking into the station. It was horrendous. The run game was awful. But that doesn't mean that you have to go get the most expensive, top of the line, the best of the best running back available. Well, you used the car analogy earlier, and it's perfect. Last year, the Chiefs had no ability to drive. They didn't have a car. It was just dead. DOA. They could not leave the house. They were stuck. But instead of being like, hey, anything is an improvement. A Corolla is an improvement. A Honda Civic's an improvement. They decided it's Range Rover time. Why? You can get better, which I acknowledge they need to do without having to pay a premium to do it. And earlier in the show, me and you were talking about edge rushers, and we can talk about how basically they're all disappearing off the board at 100 miles an hour. Oweh's gone. Boye Mafe's gone. Jalen Phillips is gone. All these guys flying off the board. What frustrates me about the Chiefs is they last year were super duper cheap at running back, and now they
were way too cheap last year at running back.
Definitely too cheap. But now they're too expensive. They're paying Kenneth Walker Derrick Henry money. They're paying him Jonathan Taylor money. He's not that player. But if you paid him running back or found a running back and paid him running back 11 money, you would have improved. You would have been less cheap. And that savings could have been used on an edge rusher. Because right now they have George Karlaftis and Ashton Gelati.
But which one of these edge rushers, and we can go through the deals. You probably have them up here. I got a lot of stuff going on at one time. Which one of these edge rushers did you really want? Because you and I are on the same page. Like, I don't want you to think that you and I are so like,
we're actually very similar on this.
They are solved at edge rusher. They are not solved at edge rusher. But I also think that we got to be realistic about what the Chiefs are going to pay for and what they're not going to pay for. You wanted Jalen Phillips, for example. Do we think that the Chiefs are going to have 3 $100 million players on their defensive line? Because that's what George Karlaftis is. They're paying him $94 million. That's what Chris Jones is. Do I think they were going to add a third one of those to their defense? Or are they going to try to find that a little bit cheaper and or find that in the draft? So I'm all for them going to get an edge rusher. You and I are on the same page. I want them to spend number 9 on a guy who can get to the quarterback. I don't know if the Chiefs are willing to spend in that market. I don't think they were willing to pay what I think the market says you need to go get a premium pass rusher. If you were telling me that Jalen Phillips was the most expensive pass rusher that was out there, who signed a 4-year, $110 million contract?
120, I think.
Sure, 4 for 120, $30 million a year, who has 6 sacks over the last 2 seasons. No, thank you. I'm out on that. You would be killing that deal that they paid Jalen Phillips like he was TJ Watt. So would I rather overpay at running back knowing the level of consistency that I'm going to get, or would I rather been overpay at DN to solve that issue, go get Jalen Phillips, and then you and I are spending the entire summer, man, I mean, I hope he's a guy that can go from being a 5-sack guy to a 8.5-sack guy to a 9.5-sack guy because they paid him. I'm not here telling you that I think Kenneth Walker is the best running back in the league. I don't think anybody on the text line or Chiefs fans are arguing that he's the best running back in the league. But they have been so bad at running back for the last 2 years, I am not mad at them now for splurging at running back. And now, when you have a significant problem the way that they had at running back, I'm not here to tell you, man, I wish they would have got Kenneth Gainwell. He's fine. But if you want to have the conversation about what you can find in the draft, they can still find Kenneth Gainwell. Trust me, that guy's available in the 3rd round. That guy's available in the 4th round. That guy's available in the 5th round. So I'm for you go get your sure thing. And now let's play the lottery a little bit. And in the 3rd round, go find another running back. And maybe in 2 years, that guy turns into the next guy that Kenneth Walker, when he's 28, 29 years old, you move on from Kenneth Walker and you start the circle of life all over again because that's the position. But just with the way that these contracts are structured in the league, them giving Kenneth Walker $28 million guaranteed over the next 2 seasons is nothing. It really is. It honestly is nothing in the grand scheme of things. That is not stopping them from being able to build out the rest of their roster. So if they want to go spend a little bit of money on receiver, you got the ability to go spend a little bit of money on receiver and bring back Tyquan Thornton if you want to bring him back. If you want to find another older pass rusher on a 1-year, $15 million, $20 million deal, you just take a swing on an old guy, they got the cap flexibility to be able to do that. You were not going to have that cap flexibility if they had went out and signed Jalen Phillips to $110 million. That would have been one of the worst contracts they could have given out.
Boye Mafe was the name I'd like. Edge rusher, we can go back to edge rusher in a minute. Here's my biggest complaint with this deal. And the text line says this, and it's something you say a lot. The worst thing to do in free agency in the NFL is pay a good player a great contract. We can look at running back contracts in the NFL based on what's being reported right now by basically everyone about Kenneth Walker. You can name the people making more than him. He's not as good as them. I can name players he's now making more than that I don't think he is as good as. So I worry the Chiefs, because they were so itchy and so, gung-ho about fixing running back, that they committed the cardinal sin in the NFL, which is paying a good player. And I do think Kenneth Walker's a good player. I don't want that lost in here. But I think they are paying a good player a great contract. And what undoes greatness is when you look at your roster and you're getting good production out of a guy who's getting a great paycheck. Because, and this is where me and you just see it differently, you're considering him a weapon. And if we look at every guy in the league, he's top 40 in pay and weapons. I look at him at his position. He is a running back. Running backs and receivers, different. Running back and tight end, different. I don't put it under one weapon umbrella. So when you look at the other guys in his hemisphere of pay, he is not as good as them, which is why I think this was a mistake by the Chiefs.
And this is where you are right. We are not that far off. He is the 4th highest paid running back in the league. If you and I sat down and made a list of our top 10 running backs, I'm not sure if I would put Kenneth Walker's name on there. But what I guess I am saying is, what I am perfectly fine that they paid with is, I am on Pro Football Reference right now. Now, I don't know if he's going to play in all 17 games. Let's assume that he plays in all 17 games. So I'll give you the 17 game and I'll give you the 15 game. How about that? If he plays in 17 games, his average in Seattle is 240 carries for 1,042 yards and 8 touchdowns. He also would have 39 catches for 294 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yes. Sign that guy up in the offense. Keep working. I want you to spend number 9 potentially on a wide receiver. I want you to go out and go get a veteran wide receiver to throw into the mix. But if you were telling me that for the next 2 years or 3 years possibly, let's see how the deal is structured, they have a running back that we can press the button right now, 240 carries for a little under 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns and add another 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, I do not care about this contract. That contract is not why they won't win games. Those other contracts might be why they don't win games. The fact that Chris Jones has the highest cap hit of any non-quarterback in the National Football League, that might end up being a problem. But the Kenneth Walker deal at $14 million a year is not stopping the Chiefs from being able to win. Let's say he plays in 15 games. Let's say he gets hurt, right? He's a running back. Guys get hurt. That's 205 carries for 890 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 250 yards receiving. So we are talking about a guy that right now you can pencil in for 1,000 yards from scrimmage. I dare anybody listening right now, tell me one player you are 100% certain is going to have 1,000 yards from scrimmage on the Chiefs offense. Is it Travis Kelce? He didn't do it last year. Didn't do it the year before. Are you 100% certain Travis Kelce gives you 1,000 yards from scrimmage? Okay, not him. Are you certain about Rashee Rice? I think it's more likely Rashee Rice isn't on the team than he has 1,000 yards receiving this year, if we're being completely frank about it. Are you certain that you're going to get 1,000 yards from Xavier Worthy? So I think maybe the difference of perspective is, and I hear what you're saying, compared to other running backs, not playmakers. If Kenneth Walker does not lead them from scrimmage yards this season, something went wrong. Something went wrong. He should have more yards from scrimmage than Travis Kelce does. Or Rashee Rice doesn't get suspended, and he finally figures it out heading into a career year. He has his George Pickens year this year. So it either something goes terribly wrong and he gets hurt, or Rice ends up figuring it out and finally puts it all together for one season right before it's time to get paid. Those are the only two options for me about how this contract can play itself out. But I look at this as being a relatively low-risk kind of move. I really do. I think this is a low-risk kind of move. He has played in at least 15 games in 3 of the last 4 seasons and has had at least 900 yards and 5 touchdowns in those 3 seasons. Now, I can't predict injuries. I can't see into the future. I'm not that so Raven or Miss Cleo. But if Kenneth Walker stays healthy, I feel absolutely confident that he will have at least 900 yards rushing this year. And the fact that, to me, I can just put that into the safe and we don't got to spend a whole summer arguing about it, that's worth the extra $3 or $4 million that I think they spent for a year to pay for the insurance and not having to worry about this conversation again.
And this is I think where we have our major delineation. Is you're right. If you can every year put 900 yards in pin and put it in the safe, I agree with you. That's a win. And really an indictment on how bad the Chiefs run game has been. That it's good. Just that we are celebrating the 900-yard rusher. I agree with you. It's nice to have that, we put it in the safe. But you're paying a guy who's comparably to Jonathan Taylor. If we called up Indianapolis, who's our guy in Indianapolis? If we called him right now and said, hey, next year Jonathan Taylor is going to have 900 yards. You psyched? Based on his contract. I bet you pretty good money the Colts guy tells us no. Based on how much he's paid, I don't want him only having 900 yards. Eagles fans last year were irate with Saquon Barkley and Nick Sirianni in the run game because Saquon Barkley's making a ton of money, and he had a regression year last year. So I agree with you. 900 yards put in the safe, party on Wayne. My problem is they are paying him like he's Derrick Henry. They're paying him like he's Jonathan Taylor. He is more in the Saquon Barkley ecosphere as far as money than he is Rachaad White ecosphere as far as money. So if the expectation is, hey, clear the lowest hurdle, why are you paying him at the same level you're paying guys who are supposed to be Olympic hurdlers? That's my frustration. And I think with how bad the Chiefs' run game has been, which I cannot emphasize enough, it's been terrible. People view 900 yards, lock it in as good. And that is good, except for you're paying a guy to get 1,300 based on what his contract is.
I want to answer this text really quickly. I know we got to shout out Baker University, 913-586-7965. C-Dot, you're right, but the Chiefs need to run the ball. I just did this very, very quick math. Let's assume that at a minimum, the Chiefs give the ball to Kenneth Walker the same number of times they gave it to Kareem Hunt last year. 163 carries. Now, I imagine he's going to get more than that, but just follow me here. Let's say that they give him the exact same number of carries. I also just gave Kenneth Walker the same yards per carry. Now, I mean, he might get more, he might get less, but let's just give him exactly what he did last year, 4.6 yards per carry. He did that his first year in Seattle. He did that his last year in Seattle, 4.6 yards per carry. In that scenario, Kenneth Walker would have got 750 yards compared to last year, what you got from Kareem Hunt, which was 611 yards. I've been making this argument from day one. I don't need the Chiefs to run the ball a whole lot more than they did last year. I just think they are going to be significantly more effective at running the football. You want to know how bad it was last year at running back? Isaiah Pacheco had 40 more rushing yards than Patrick Mahomes, despite having 54 more carries than Patrick Mahomes did. Can you really wrap your mind around that? I'm serious. Wrap your mind around Kareem Hunt was their leading rusher. He had 611 yards. Isaiah Pacheco was number 2 with 462. Patrick Mahomes was third with 422. Isaiah Pacheco had 54 more carries than Patrick Mahomes and had 40 more. Their running room was bottom 3 in the National Football League. I don't think they're going to be top 3 this league. They will be in the upper half of teams in the National Football League. The Chiefs as a roster got substantially better today, in my opinion, from where they were last year. They got substantially better from where they were. They had a nothing run game and tried to play offense with one arm tied behind their back for the first 6 weeks of the season. They couldn't run the ball. They didn't have their number 1 wide receiver. They didn't have their number 2 wide receiver. Their number 1 tight end is 170 years old. They had Patrick Mahomes out there playing offense with one hand behind his back. If there is one thing I desperately want them to do, is just get back to the explosiveness. I remember when we compared this offense to the Golden State Warriors. Remember when the Chiefs would go on those third quarter just blitzes right after halftime? You'd be sitting there, you'd eat, you go upstairs, you go to the bathroom, you get something to eat, you go back down in the man cave. If you were 2-3 minutes late, you'd have missed 2 touchdowns from Kansas City. That's what I want them to get back to. But you got to have the weapons to do that. You got to have the explosiveness to do that. So I'm happy they took this chance on going to get Kenneth Walker. It is an A in my book. We'll talk about the secondary coming up on the other side. Rob, if you can, let's shout out Baker University. We'll also give people a chance to get registered for the Pop-A-Shot tournament.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Carrington had 2 pieces of big news in the hits. Number 1.
I just saw Shaheed sign. Oh, he did my dog.
Shaheed has signed.
3 for 51.
Mm-hmm. The other big news, Carrington, is we have a new sponsor for the hits. The hits are now brought to you. Yep, the hits are now brought to you by the Salvation Army. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch, which will be on May 7th.
Have they heard this show before? The Salvation Army sponsoring the show?
They thought, wow, those 2 guys are so charitable. This is the segment we want.
I hate to say it's a bad idea. Maybe a bad idea.
By the way,
might be a bad idea.
Your boy Rashid Shaheed is back in Seattle on a
need salvation.
3-year, $51 million deal, which includes $34 million guaranteed. So
I like that deal.
So it sounds like Shaheed and Kenneth Walker got the same deal.
I like that deal. They did not get the same deal. They got the same deal?
He got 3.
I said that real emphatically and then just didn't know. I was like, hold on.
Shaheed got 3 for 51, but only 34 guaranteed.
Oh, yeah, he got more. Yeah, he got a better contract.
I mean, they're pretty close.
Yeah, they're close.
They're in the same neighborhood. It's
I
just
really
one
did
house
hate
is
on
nicer.
you a little bit. I was like, they did, then I questioned myself. I wasn't sure myself. All right, we'll give you a chance to sign up for the Pop-A-Shot tournament. We'll talk about the secondary room. At this point, you, not you, Rob. I mean, you, the listener, you might be playing corner for the Chiefs in week 1. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
FanDuel is giving customers a profit boost every single day through March 15th. From now until the final 68 is revealed, you're getting daily profit boosts for a chance at boosted winnings on your college basketball bets. Trust me, you do not want to miss a single day. You're going to want to check in often to get those daily profit boosts. As we enter conference championship week, you know I'm not giving up on my Jayhawks because Darren Peterson is going to warm up. And when he does, I promise, watch out. Build a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout, or try live betting and jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
For over 35 years, we've been protecting homes across Kansas City, one roof at a time. That's more than 3 decades, more than 35,000 roofs installed, and 35,000 happy customers. We're proud to be voted best roofing company in Johnson County and all of Kansas City. At Century Roofing, we don't just build roofs, we build trust that lasts for generations. Experience matters, reputation counts, and we stand behind every roof we install. Trust the pillars of strength with KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
Goodness, nuggets!
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
CertaPro Painters recently painted my home and exceeded my expectations. I booked a free estimate, reviewed a detailed proposal, and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
In Kansas, truth is told in speed. Wide open, full bore, and no mercy. Season momentum earned 3 and 4 wide. Loud, intense, inches predicting outcomes. Blink and miss.
They bang sideways!
What just happened? Pure speed whipping across the plains.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, April 18th and 19th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking. Spring getaway on the calendar? Start your trip stress-free with Park & Go, open 24/7 with all covered parking, so your car's protected from the elements. Quick shuttle service right to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned and operated.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
Hey guys, it's Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. We're excited to launch Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dana & Parks. This is about Kansas City, not about soccer. Telling the story of how our town ended up hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, plus video clips on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
Subscribe to Beyond the Pitch KC on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got big backups heading down into the Triangle. 71 southbound. The crash is just past 85th. 2 right lanes are blocked. Big backups, and they continue to build. We've got another crash for 35 southbound at Gregory. Right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I just saw this tweet, Rob, and it's what you said. So Kenneth Walker got 3 for 45 with 28.7 guaranteed. Rashid Shaheed got 3 for 51 with 35 guaranteed. They basically had to pick one. You couldn't sign both. You had to pick one, especially when you got to take care of JSN and you got to start to get ready to take care of that defense too. That was the best defense in the league, and they picked the wide receiver over the running back. But this is where I think Seattle is in a little bit of a different place than everybody else. Seattle has shown that they get running back correct. The Chiefs have not shown they get running back right. They drafted 2 good running backs in the last 4 years. They drafted Kenneth Walker. They also drafted Zach Charbonnet. So Seattle is taking a guess. What does do that same process over again? Like, I keep hearing people tell me how good this running back class is. I guarantee you Seattle will find one. I don't know who it's going to be, but I don't think Seattle's going to be bad at running the football next year. They'll be all right. And they'll do it on a third year, on a third round pick, fourth round pick. Now let's see what they end up doing. But this is the difference to me in organizations. The Chiefs have not had a lot of success in skill position players, so now they got to go out and make up for it. When you haven't drafted and haven't developed running back really well now, and you need instant, solvable, you need something tangible, you went out and paid for it. This isn't much different than what Buffalo just did. Now, they traded a draft pick to go get it with DJ Moore, but they've missed at wide receiver time and time again. They look around. Their wide receiver room has gotten bad. All right, now what do we got to do? We got to solve this. We got to fix it. All right, let's go get DJ Moore. The Chiefs just did the exact same thing at running back. When you haven't hit at running back and you're not going to spend the 9th overall pick on a running back, and you don't love this draft class, you're a little bit stuck. So I think the Chiefs from day one, they were always planning on addressing this. So if Breece Hall was available, I think they would have got Breece Hall. They ended up getting Kenneth Walker. I think if Kenneth Walker had signed with Denver, I think they would have then went out and got Travis Etienne. I don't think that Brett Veach was leaving empty-handed when it came to running back. Because they have missed on skill position-wise, they had to hit on one skill position player, and they hit today in free agency.
I really like when I get to use your words against you. It brings me such joy.
It happens sometimes.
Remember last week when you were telling me, we were talking about edge rusher. You were like, it's got to be a problem if these good edge rushers are just hitting free agency. Isn't that an indictment if the Chargers are going to walk on Owe, if the Seahawks are going to walk on Mafe? And you were saying it's reason to be hesitant about signing a big contract to one of these edge rushers. The fact that Seattle walked on Charbonnet's hurt, and they walked on Kenneth Walker and gave that money to a wide receiver. Doesn't that give you a little hesitation about what Kenneth Walker is?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess maybe the best way to answer it is I think Seattle trusts their ability to solve the problem, where I would say it's almost the exact same thing in Kansas City. I think that Jalen Watson's a very, very good corner. I think the Chiefs were happy to let him go. You want to know why they're happy letting him go? Because we've made Jalen Watson 6 times before. So we know we're going to do this. The Chiefs have shown no worry. The Chiefs very easily could have made the decision today. Like, they could have done what you wanted them to do. They could have signed Jalen Watson to the 3-year, $51 million. That's not a crazy deal. They could have got one of those running backs for cheap, and they could have got Kenneth Gainwell. They could have got a Tyler Algier. They very easily could have done that, and they probably still could have got Tonga. They could have probably done all of those things today. The Chiefs are so confident in their ability to solve their secondary. They let all 3 of their guys walk. Now, it's different with Trey McDuffie. They traded him, but they let Brian Cook go play for another team. We don't care. And we let Jalen Watson go play for another team. I don't think they ever negotiated with those 2 players. 3 for 51 is not bad, especially if you were in the situation that Kansas City is now when it comes to their secondary, which leads us to the next part of this conversation. I mean, we all like Noah Williams. I'm not here telling you not to like Noah Williams. The Chiefs didn't really like Noah Williams a lot this year. He didn't play a whole lot this year, not really until the end of the season when it didn't matter. Christian Fulton did not really play until the Chiefs were eliminated from contention. He didn't really play until the final 3 weeks of the season is when he finally started to play. Now, they're obviously going to make moves, free agency, the draft, etc. But the Chiefs are telling you emphatically, we are not worried about cornerback and secondary. We do this. This is what we are good at. This is like Dayton Moore back in 2014, 2015 with the bullpen. I can always find these guys. They are having the utmost confidence in their defensive coordinator, utmost confidence in their D-back coach with Dave Merritt and their system and their scheme. They don't feel that same way about running back. You can if in day 1 of free agency you go out there and spend this much on running. You are not as confident at running back as you are on other places on your team.
That is very, very true. Now, to that point about the confidence, I imagine most fans don't care that Jalen Watson walked off today, no problem, because they just trust they can make the next one. I guess my frustration to tie the 2 conversations together is that I love the way the Chiefs handle corner because they always find the next one. I wish the Chiefs were good at that at all premium positions because we know what free agency is. Free agency is when you chase your misses in the draft. That's just That's how that's how it works.
And they've missed their running back.
They have missed their running back. They're also gonna have to chase at edge. They missed at edge. They have a redshirt one sitting on the bench, first round pick. So I guess my frustration is Seattle thinks we can make another one in the draft at the non-premium positions. The Chiefs end up paying the premium positions because it seems like recently paying up premium, at those positions because they struggle to hit on those players. Where they win is at corner and safety when they find dime a dozen players and make them really viable in Kansas City.
So to give you an idea, I just did this quick math on the fly. Christian Fulton, when the Chiefs were still in contention, so they were out of contention the last 3 games, right? They were out of contention for Tennessee, Denver, and Las Vegas, right? They were completely eliminated.
Yes. For sure. They may have been out on Thanksgiving, but I agree with you.
Yeah, they were officially eliminated at that point. Up until the point where the Chiefs were officially eliminated, Christian Fulton played in 29 snaps. He finished the year with 208. So you're going to see the numbers in 208. They did not trust him. He did not play until they were forced to play him at the end of the season. Now, do I trust the Chiefs' ability to make miracles and walk on water when it comes to their secondary room? I'm not here telling you I don't trust their system. They have made me fools before. But they cannot go into the season with these 2 problems: an inexperienced secondary and a team that can't get after the quarterback. You got to solve one of those 2 problems. So you can sell me on Noel Williams, Christian Fulton, 3rd-round pick, Joshua Williams, Roland Wallace. You could sell me on those guys at corner. You better find some dogs up front that can get pressure with your front 4. Because if you can't create pressure with your front 4 and you got to gamble and take as many chances as they did last year with their secondary and send in blitzes from other places, barbecue chicken alert. Barbecue chicken alert is what you are going to be hearing a lot on this show once they get to the season. So it is day 1 of free agency. I'm not here to overreact. I like the moves that they have made so far. I like this Kyrus Tonga move. I like the Kenneth Walker move. They took a big swing and got a dynamic playmaker in day 1 of free agency. They got a nice starting defensive tackle. So they have George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, and Kyrus Tonga. They got to find one other pass rusher on that other side, and that's their front 4. Now, maybe that's a draft pick. Maybe they go get an older veteran and have a rotational piece. You still got Ashton Gelati. You still got Norman Lott. You still got these other guys. So there's still names out there. But you either got to solve the D-line problem or you got to get much more experience and you got to give yourself much more flexibility in their secondary. It's day 1, but they still got some needs. They still got needs at corner. They still got needs at wide receiver. They still got needs on DN. But at least right now with running back, we can move it down the board. We don't got to spend any more time talking about Jeremiah Love. He is not coming to Kansas City. I don't know where he's going. Maybe he's going to Washington. Maybe he's going to Nashville. I don't know. But I know he's not going to New Orleans, and I know he's not going to Kansas City after the moves today. This is your last chance today to register for the Pop-A-Shot contest. During the commercial break, you'll hear a beer raftery. You will have another set of chances tomorrow. These are only 2 days we're doing it. You'll have your final chance today to qualify for the Pop-A-Shot tournament. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Goodness.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Taking a look look at the pro basketball futures market to win the Eastern Conference. Boston, with its star player now back, plus 200. Cleveland, plus 325. Detroit, the current 1 seed, but losers of 4 straight at plus 400. And New York at plus 450. And I would take a look at New York at that price. And I know New York just lost to Los Angeles over the weekend, but remember, New York beat Boston last year and was up on Boston in that playoff series before Boston's star player got hurt. I do think there's currently value in New York. New York plus 450 to win the Eastern Conference. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
We've all been there. You wake up and your knees give you that not today feeling, and it's frustrating and exhausting. Honestly, it's unfair. Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. Yeah, I didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel way older than you actually are. QC Kinetics patients are getting relief, feeling younger, and jumping back into life at full speed without surgery. The medical professionals at QC Kinetics use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science. They take the tiny, powerful healing tools already inside your body and concentrate them right where you need relief. The sooner you start, the sooner inflammation eases and joint damage slows down, because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate. Your consultation's free. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick Weight Loss Hypnosis Seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great. Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and lose the weight or stop smoking. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Hypnosis, Wednesday, April 1st at the Wingate by Wyndham, Kansas City. Formerly Sure Stay Plus by Best Western in Kansas City. Lose weight hypnosis, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Love college basketball? Gear up for another exciting season of college ball with a special offer from BetMGM. Sign into your BetMGM account and enjoy a college basketball odds boost token to snag even more winnings on your next bet. Just log into the BetMGM Sportsbook app, add any college basketball bet to your bet slip, and activate your odds boost token. If you win your bet with your token activated, you'll score extra winnings. It's that simple. Log in and enjoy our odds boost token to help you create another memorable season of college ball. Head for the net with BetMGM all season long. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. This promotional offer not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got the crash and big backups both directions, but the crash is 35 northbound at 56 Highway. Left lane is blocked again both directions of 35, very heavy through that area. Raytown, that's a crash 435. Southbound at Gregory, right lane is blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right. Rob, can we spend 4 minutes today talking about something that is not NFL free agency? I promise you we'll get right back to it. I do want to get back to it. Did you see that the Atlanta Hawks, they have canceled their Magic City night? So if you guys are unaware, the Atlanta Hawks, they were having a promotion that was about the most popular gentleman's club in Atlanta. A lot of times, I'm not really sure if these billion-dollar companies, like if they run these by people, because just me, sports talk, I feel like I know what gets people upset. If you had told me that you were going to have strip club night at the NBA game and you didn't think there was going to be a little bit of pushback with that, I'd have told you that you were crazy, especially when quite literally all they were doing, like they could have just done this. They just didn't have to call it Magic City Night. All they were doing was they were going to have a hoodie that had the Hawks logo on it that said Magic City. They were giving that away. They could have just sold it on their website. Hey, limited edition, we want to celebrate one of the... You could have done that. No one really would have complained about that. They then were going to serve the wings as a concession item. I've had the wings at Magic City. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. And they were going to have T.I. do the halftime show. 2,000 rap acts do halftime shows literally all the time. It wasn't like it was going to be late night at the Fog where Snoop Dogg was going to have performers dancing on the Jayhawk. This was so dumb, really, by everybody. This was really, really dumb, and only a controversy that the NBA would have, and more specifically, only a controversy that Atlanta, Georgia would have, that they were thinking about having strip club night at the professional basketball game. If they had just said, we're going to serve Magic City wings here and T.I. is going to do a halftime show, no one would have ever talked about it. But the fact that they called it strip club night at the game, you can't see how that was going to cause problem with people and how they were going to complain about it. You got to live in the same 2026 that I live in. You got to be on the same social media that I'm on. You thought that was going to fly?
Sometimes the awareness score of these places
is so stupid to me.
Zero.
It's dumb. Not a single person just raised their hand and said, hey, maybe we shouldn't call it Magic City Night. Like, if we want to have the food here, yeah. No one would have been mad if they had served chicken wings at the basketball game. No one would have been mad.
You should have like a guest concession stand. Hey, outside of section 122, a special tonight, wings from Magic City. No one would have been like, what is this problem?
Yeah. But we've all been to a themed night. You know what I mean? We've all been to a themed night. Like when they have Mizzou night. Everything is just kind of Mizzou theme, you know? They play old Mizzou highlights and they have the people throw out the first pitch and you do all that. Like you were celebrating Missouri. You can't see how people didn't think you should be celebrating the strip club at the basketball game. Like, come on now. I mean, this is stupid. You got to know that this was stupid. Absolutely. You got to know that this was stupid.
The hoodie giveaway is now off the website. That was also part of it. The hoodie was
kind of hard, though. I kind of like that hoodie.
The hoodie was a problem.
I did kind of like the hoodie.
That's the one where I'm like,
I looked at the price and I was like, ooh, that's kind of expensive. I didn't want it. I would have bought it, though. It was a little cheaper.
You know, pumping the merch may have been where they really went wrong.
Yeah.
It's only to have the wings and even call it Magic City Night. But being like, you get a free hoodie. Ooh, that's where it went wrong.
All right, let's get back to basketball. We don't have that much time left. Did you see the Broncos? The Broncos, they missed completely at running back.
Well, they brought J.K. Dobbins back.
Okay, well, he's hurt already.
Walking to sign his...
He's already hurt.
He took the stairs, not the elevator, so he blew out his ACL.
They missed on everybody, right? So Walker's off the board. ETN is off the board. Algiers off the board. Gainwell's off the board. Maybe they get Rico Dowdle.
Rashad White?
Maybe. But I'm saying is, from where they were talking about who they wanted at running back, you know what the Broncos are going to do? The Rob Britton plan. That's what the Broncos are doing at running back. They're doing.
You mean the division
Britton
champs?
plan.
That's interesting. That the team that won the division last year and hosted the AFC title game took that path.
Yeah, they're doing the Rob Britton plan. Let's see if it works. Because the Broncos are going to get one of those kind of running backs.
Yep.
Like, they literally would have done your exact plan.
They might draft one, but
they also spent the mid-round draft pick last year and got R.J. Harvey.
True.
So they get a bargain basement clearance running back, and they spent the third-round pick on a running back. So let's track Kansas City's run game, and let's track Denver's run game, and let's see who's more effective in the run game next year. Because one team in the division is going to do the Rob Britton plan. The Rob Britton GM building plan.
And it can't be the Raiders because they took a running back in the top 4. Yeah, I would never.
And the Chargers spent the first-round pick on a running back, something you also would not have done. You also would not have drafted Amarion Hampton.
I wouldn't have signed Najee Harris either.
Well, okay, well.
He's 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Well,
Najee Harris is Alabama Kareem Hunt.
That's what you want. That's what you want the Chiefs to do. You want them to go get 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Rashad White. That's what you wanted.
Rachaad White, I bet, has more yards per carry than 3.
Okay, well, they can still bring one of those guys in on a RB2 deal. I'm not against bringing in somebody else on an RB2 deal.
Just draft RB2. Not Jeremiah Love. Just draft Emmett Johnson for RB2.
I tweeted this earlier, and people thought I was joking, but I'm dead serious. If the Chiefs draft a running back at number 9, Brett Veach should resign. I hope they play this on the Kingdom show or the franchise or whatever that show's called. I've never really watched it, but I know sometimes my voice is on there. I hope that they clip this for the show. If the Chiefs draft a running back at number 9, Brett Veach should resign. He should go, hey, boss man, can I talk to you for a little? You know, you got to knock on your boss, you got to ask a question. Hey, boss, can I talk to you real quick? Then you go in there and shut the door. Hey, man, I got to, this is going to be my last day. What do you mean, Brett? We love you. We appreciate you. I mean, thinking about drafting a running back after I just paid Kenneth Walker? Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, go and get your stuff. Go and get your bag. Get your box. All right, I had a lot of fun today. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun. I imagine we will have more NFL